official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio. The official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
By Colombia. Now the question I set for you last time was, of the 32 nations that are here, 6 of their all-time leading scorers at some point in their career played for Manchester United. Who were the 6? Well, Radamel Falcao is about to strut his stuff for Colombia against England, and of course he is their leading scorer. And still in the competition, Romelu Lukaku with Belgium, of course a current Manchester United player. There are a couple who've been here and now gone. The great Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, had a wonderful spell with Manchester United and did pretty well for Portugal, but they're out. He's their all-time leading scorer by some distance. And Javier Hernandez, Chicharito, went out with Mexico, Mexico's all-time leading scorer, obviously for a while a Manchester United player. And there are 2 others to make up the 6 whose teams were here, countries were here, but they weren't here. For Sweden, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, of course, towards the end of his career, played for Manchester United, Sweden's all-time leading scorer. And the one and only Wayne Rooney, who I'm sure would love to be here with England, England's all-time leading scorer. That's a record that might stand for a while. And Harry Kane, who's going to be leading England's charge to get through this round of 16 tie, of course, will be trying to break that record as the years go by. So that's the...
Here we go then. England, Colombia. Let's get all of the day's news, including how what happened. Sweden and Switzerland ended 1-0 to Sweden. Let's have all of the match reports, shall we?
England manager Gareth Southgate says his side must write their own history by beating Colombia in their World Cup last 16 match. England haven't won a knockout match at a major tournament for 12 years. It's estimated that 65,000 Colombian fans have descended on the Russian capital, compared with just 6,000 England fans expected. Before England play, potential quarter-final opponents Sweden and Switzerland meet this afternoon. Switzerland are narrow favourites and are ranked 6th in the world. Belgium will meet Brazil in Friday's quarter-final after surviving a scare against Japan. They scored 3 goals in the last 21 minutes to come from 2-0 down. Uruguay head...
Here we go then. 15 minutes till kick-off, England versus Colombia. Whoever wins out of this will get into the quarter-finals. Let's get that famous song, shall we? Has everyone got their 3 lines on? You better be. We're going to go straight into the build-up action after this. Here we go then, it's coming home. England, Colombia in 15 minutes time.
Good old England! England that couldn't play football!
It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home. It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home. Everyone seems to know the score. They've seen it all before. They just know, they're so sure
that England's gonna throw it away, gonna blow it away. But I know they can pray, 'cause I remember 3 lines on a shirt. Jewels remain still gleaming. All these years of hurt never stop me dreaming.
So many jokes, so many sneers, but all those oh so nears weigh you down through the years. But I still see that tackle by Moore, and when Lineker scored, Bobby bouncing the ball, and
I know that was then, but it could be again.
It's coming home, coming home, coming home. Football's coming home.
In the villages and the towns, in the gardens or the streets, on the fields and the parks, football! It's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming. Football's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Three lines on a shirt, children race to bleeding. All these years of hurt never stopped me dreaming.
German, see you later, we are greater. It's coming home, it's coming home. The fans they cheer, is this the year we're on the weather's bliss? We could get used to this. The flags fly high in the streets tonight. Take a look and you'll see what it means. For once we're on top and it's clear to me that we'd win even on penalties. Harry scoring up top, beers flowing non-stop. Let's have another 6-son coming home. Harry scoring up top, beers flowing non-stop. Let's have another 6-son coming home. Delhi's backers are creator, penetrator. It's coming home, it's coming home. Trick is frowned, there's no denying. The England's flying, let's not flop. We can get used to this. The flags fly high in the trees tonight. Take a look and you'll see what it means. For once we're on top and it's clear to me that we'd win even on penalties. Harry scoring up top, beers flowing non-stop. Let's have another 6-son coming home. Harry scoring up top, beers flowing non-stop. Let's have another 6-son coming home. We've got big boys, big heads, the England are dead. Singing our song, this is the 66 throwback.
66 throwback it is. Here we go then.
Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
Let's go straight down to it. No mucking about. England versus Colombia. Whoever wins out of this one will play Sweden in the quarterfinals. Then whoever wins out of Russia and Japan will go into the semi-finals, and then it will be in England and Belgium final, won't it? Okay, let's get to it, shall we? 10 minutes till kick-off. Let's get that build up.
The World Cup. This is SJ Radio.
So for England, it's not mission impossible.
You're going home tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, I am here.
I left a respectful amount of silence, I think.
That's the first time I've heard you speechless, Chavis. and I love it.
Gareth Southgate said when he arrived at the ground, we want to play in the style we have already shown in this tournament. We must play with intelligence and be savvy. We have to be tough in the moments that they attack and have the togetherness to cope. If Quintero comes in, if he starts on the left of a 3, Chris, but then maybe drifts in, whose responsibility is he going to be?
Well, this is going to be the problem, because Lingard and Dele Alli like to go that way. Now, if he comes in off the touchline here and starts wandering behind Dele Alli or Lingard, whoever's playing sort of right side, Jordan Henderson then will be occupied by other things, and he could get areas where one of the centre-halves may get dragged out, which you don't want. He could be caught, he cause a problem. It's up to Dele Alli or Lingard knowing when to go. They've got to look over the shoulder and think, well, he's the danger, not the guy Sanchez who's going to be sitting in front of the back 4. He's not as much a problem. You don't want Quintero getting him behind their our midfield and getting one sort of turning, and then that's where he's got his qualities to release great passes.
So can Kieran Trippier, to all intents and purposes, concentrate on his attacking side rather than the defensive side, particularly when he has been so effective with his delivery?
He's got to. When you're playing wing backs, you've got to get good width, and that's unless Kieran Trippier gets occupied by Cristiano and they say, look, you're going to have to hold there, and that's when Sterling can come and play on the right wing. So you're not missing out on anything really then. But Cristiano's going to be the problem because he's clever enough to drift inside. He's got a wonderful left foot, and he drifts into areas, where you think, who's going to pick him up? And you need good communication.
There's a heck of an atmosphere behind you, Terry, isn't there? I mean, there's Colombian and England fans all mixed in together. An awful lot of St George's flags, as we've said, but so many yellow shirts behind you. But the atmosphere is sensational.
Yeah, England vastly outnumbered, but there's little pockets about here and there, and it's good to see, but lots of yellow. I mean, people with yellow wigs on and yellow shirts, everything face painted yellow. It's yellow everywhere. No, I'm not particularly keen of yellow, but there we go.
Plenty of Carlos Valderrama wigs around.
Absolutely,
as well.
yeah.
I've noticed here. They're just getting ready to start the opening ceremony. What would you have said, Terry, in that dressing room as the last thing before coming out?
I would say we're not going home tomorrow. Make sure that happens.
But you are.
No, I'm going home, you peanut, not the team.
All right.
I wish you were going home, Waddle, I tell you.
Terry Bush is behind that goal for us. Chris, you just want to see England fly out to the blocks as they have.
Yeah, I just want the first 20 minutes really high tempo, move the ball quick, a lot of options as we saw against Tunisia. Get the ball across the box when you get it right early, unsettle them.
The flags of the two countries have just been unfurled on the pitch down below us, with the Russian World Cup emblem in the middle over the centre circle. The red carpet with Moscow written on it has been unfurled as well, ready for the teams to come out for the national anthems. And we are now looking at the sides in the tunnel. Radamel Falcao looking at his feet at the moment. Harry Kane looking straight ahead in his red tracksuit top. 7 quarter-finalists are known. Sweden beat Switzerland earlier by a 0-0. They await the winners of this one. Are England going to win a knockout match at the World Cup for the first time since 2006? Find out with us now over the next 90 minutes, 120 minutes, or even longer than that, but hopefully not. England against Colombia, live on 5 Live Sport, with former England internationals Terry Butcher, Chris Waddle, and our football correspondent as the teams come out of the tunnel here at the Spartak Stadium, John Murray.
Well, thanks, Mark. Yeah, the England team and the Colombia team are now marching together out of the tunnel. The knockout stage of this World Cup is about to arrive for England and for Colombia. And they've arrived in Moscow, the England team, on what is a cloudy evening. It might rain, it's quite cool as well. You'd think that would be good for the England team at this terrific stadium, the home of Spartak Moscow, which has the huge statue of Spartacus the gladiator standing on its pyramid plinth outside, and the stadium with a red and white Spartak Moscow shell around it. Inside, 44,000 people, and they are on their feet now as we wait for the anthems. And first of all, it will be the stirring anthem of Colombia. Well, that gives you an idea of just how many Colombians there are in this Spartak Moscow stadium. They outnumber the England fans considerably. So now England in their red tracksuit tops, arms round one another for the national anthem. So Harry Kane turns to his right and leads his England team along the line and clasps hands with those 11 Colombians in the yellow shirts. England against Colombia, a country that has never recorded a victory over England in 5 previous meetings. You might, if you're old enough, remember the game at France 98, their only previous meeting at a World Cup finals tournament when England won by 2-0. Gareth Southgate was among the unused substitutes that day. But that's all history, Chris Waddle. What Colombia are here in Russia is one of the group winners. And the group winners are tending to go through. Yep. So far, 6 of the 7 group winners are into the last 8, the exceptions being Russia, yep, who, as we know, because we sat and watched it,
yep, and
they shouldn't have got through.
No, they went to a shootout, so yeah, it is. There's a pattern there, isn't there, where all the group leaders are going through. But I've got to say, England should be very confident coming here. I know the rest of the players against Belgium and obviously lost 1-0, but listen, we don't know which Colombian side's going to turn up, so I don't think England's got really anything to fear here.
The 2 number 9s are shaking hands, the 2 captains, Harry Kane and Radamel Falcao, who we know very well, and now posing with the officials, the American officials, referee Mark Geiger, and Chris Waddle sitting alongside me here. Chris, who won 62 caps for England in the commentary position, which is very low down actually in the Spartak Stadium, but we'll also be able to bring in Terry Butcher, the captain last time England reached a World Cup semi-final, who's standing behind the advertising hoardings at one end at pitch level. So Terry, just give us a thought from you before this game begins.
Well, I'm actually sitting down. I've got a stool here. It feels like I'm fishing in the canal or something like that. But I'm just peering over the top of the advertising boards. The pitch is magnificent. Really looking forward to it. Great atmosphere. England want to try and silence this crowd because obviously the majority are Colombian supporters. But England look sharp, bright red kit, look fantastic. Here we go. Looking forward to it.
So Terry Butcher and Chris Waddle with us inside the stadium on 5 Live. Colombia against England in the last 16 at this 2018 World Cup. Colombia with Ospina in goal, the Arsenal goalkeeper, back 4 of Arias, Yerry Mina of Barcelona, Davinson Sanchez of Tottenham, Johan Mojica is the left back, 3 central midfielders, Carlos Sanchez, the former Aston Villa man who was sent off in the first match, Jefferson Lerma and Wilmar Barrios, and then Juan Cuadrado, Juan Quintero and Radamel Falcao up front. And England, same team that played against Tunisia at the start of this World Cup. So Jordan Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones and Maguire, Trippier and Young, Henderson, Lingard, Dele Alli, Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. The atmosphere, wonderful. It's a Colombian atmosphere, it must be said. Flags of yellow, blue and red waving all around the stadium. The England flags, the Cross of St George flags are all, or mainly in the end, to our right. England in the first half will play from right to left in the all-red kit tonight with the white trim. But it's Colombia in the yellow shirts, the white shorts and the white socks who get the game underway in the last 16 of this World Cup tournament, this wide open half of the draw. And immediately Arias pushing up the right-hand side, which is very much his way, the right back. England get their first touch as Dele Alli and then Harry Kane deflect it out of play for a throw-in to Colombia near the halfway line. But the number 4, Arias, will take back into central defence where he finds big Yerry Mina, who moved to Barcelona in January and has yet to settle there, but has been quite a presence in this Colombian side so far and has obviously scored 2 goals from set pieces. To his left, the Tottenham man, Davinson Sanchez, who receives the ball now in his white boots and then plays it out to the left-hand side to Johan Mojica, who plays for Girona in Spain. That's their back four. Long ball hit up towards Falcao, who comes short for it. The ball whizzes over his head, and Jordan Pickford gets his first touch of the match. So Colombia 0, England 0. Good to have you with us on 5 Live, BBC 5 Live, following England at this World Cup 2018. You can listen via the BBC Sport app as well. The BBC World Service across Africa are listening in as well. Good to have you with us, as well as TSN in Canada too. So hello to you all, wherever you are. Here's Young playing the ball back for England into his own half, and then Maguire going all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Chorus of boos and whistles from the Colombian fans.
Just strange how they've set up with Falcao, Cuadrado on the right, what we thought, but you've got Quintero's actually playing as a 10 behind Falcao, so left back's being isolated, and really Kieran Trippier should get, especially Kyle Walker should be getting a lot of the ball. There's nobody on that side.
Raheem Sterling, 999 days since he last scored for England. Sterling with his first run forward, then receives it again, but a strong challenge from Mojica comes in on him, and Colombia are back in possession inside their own half. And in fact Quintera does well. Little Quintera holds it up against Henderson, then plays it to Arias on the right hand side here. Cuadrado of Juventus makes a run out to the right hand side, but it comes infield to Quintera, who of course is having a very good World Cup. This Porto man, who has had, as Tim Vickery was suggesting, as the cross comes in from Mojica on the left-hand side, but is easily headed away for England, and England take possession. Kyle Walker, very cool from Walker to beat Quintero, and England are looking to pass it out from the back. Yeah, Quintero, whose parent club is Porto, but as Tim Vickery was suggesting, has had various lifestyle issues and has ended up in Argentina on loan at Boca Juniors, but has done well there, and therefore has got his international recall. Here's Harry Kane winning a free kick and taking it quickly out to the right hand side. Trippier arrives. Trippier with a little ball down the right towards Lingard, but Davinson Sanchez allows it to run, but it won't run out of play, so he has to take the ball and clear it away. And as he was doing so, he was fouled by Lingard, and it's a free kick to Colombia in the left back position. So 0-0, very early stages, 3 minutes played.
Actually, Barrios has dropped sort of right in front of two centre halves, so that they've really packed the midfield. And the two full-backs are actually playing like wing-backs, and the sort of two centre halves, and Barrios just keeps dropping in to make it 3, but he's sort of playing 10 yards in front of them at times.
Barrios, who plays with Boca Juniors in Argentina. Quintero at River Plate, that's where he's been on loan. Free kick to be taken by Ospina, the Arsenal goalkeeper, who has committed the odd mistake and error during the course of this qualifying campaign, and indeed in some of the warm-up matches as well, where he looked rather shaky in the match against France. But it's worth pointing out that this Colombia team did beat France 3-2 in March. England with possession. Henderson goes all the way back to Pickford again, and this is a composed start from England, not the quick start yet that Gareth Southgate wanted to see. Pickford out to Maguire. Maguire then, Kane has come very deep, and actually Barrios went all the way with Harry Kane deep into his own territory. Dele Alli now on the left hand side, just in front of us. Sterling with a run down the left hand side, and the defender Mina slides in the full back position and takes it with his arm, and it goes behind for what would have been a corner, but in fact was handball, so it's a free kick, Chris.
Well, so far England's been very, very good at set pieces, and this is a great position, isn't it? It's 5 yards off the byline, just outside the 18-yard box on this left hand side. Well, we've got a lot of options here. Will he shoot it across the goal?
Ashley Young is the only contender to take it. Trippier's run right away over to the far side. Walker and Lingard are outside the box, but the big presence of Harry Maguire has been the obvious target for England's set pieces.
Will they work one in the training here where somebody spins round the back or gets across the near post, and they only need a flick if the pace is on the cross?
It's 0-0, 5 Live, free kick, first big chance of this round of 16 match. Young still waiting. There's lots of movement in the box. Referee Geiger just keeping an eye on it. It's swung in by Young and then punched away by goalkeeper Ospina, where it was right under his nose, but it's come out for Trippier, who swirls it in, and it takes a flick off a Colombian head and bounces out of play just next to the corner flag for an England corner.
Well, first corner, Ashley Young's going to come across, and keep your eye on Maguire and Stones here. They're saying they're getting obviously, as we've so cuddled, as they describe it now, every set piece, but we'll see here. But normally they just hang this up to the penalty spot and let them go and attack it.
The referee is very close now to a huddle of players. 4 England men, 4 Colombians. Young to take the corner, drives it in towards the back post. Ospina catches it. Harry Kane, meanwhile, was in a heap with Carlos Sanchez on the edge of the penalty area. But they're breaking downfield with left-back Mojica, who shows far too much of that. And England come bursting forward with Trippier down the right-hand side. And then the ball is deflected out of play by Sanchez for what is a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, I think England started pretty bright. They've just got to settle down in possession now. I like the tempo they've got to winning the ball back and the energy so far. But when they get the ball, they've got to relax. You know, there's 2 buttons, A and B. Go and get it back, press A. When you get it, relax, press B. At the minute, they're not pressing B.
That's Chris Waddle. Get a word from Terry Butcher behind one of the goals. When we get an opportunity, I just noticed down to our left, James Rodriguez, who's not involved. His injury, his calf injury, has kept him out, and he's just been guided to a seat in the stands, nowhere near the bench actually. It's way over to our left-hand side, closer to the corner flag. Brilliant commentary position we have here. Most of this World Cup we've been up in the heavens, but now we're down at a low level. England with this free kick, which is played into the penalty area on the right. Sterling's after it, and there's a deflection behind for another corner to England.
Good free kick again, just didn't plant it in the box. A little bit of movement, try to get Sterling in down the side. Good defending, 2 yellow shirts get there, kick it out for another corner. It's all England.
There's so much talk about set pieces, defending of set pieces. Referee Geiger is speaking to Carlos Sanchez, who is the man who has been assigned Harry Kane. And as I mentioned, the last corner, they both ended up on the ground. Kane now, referee says stop, don't take the corner. Yeah. Trippier.
They'll not listen, they'll still do it, watch. They'll still do it.
Stones is there as well, just next to Harry Kane. And Trippier still waiting. Corner for England from the right. It's 0-0 on 5 Live. And here is the delivery from Trippier towards the penalty spot, which is headed away. And it actually might be run away for Colombia as it's played forward down the right-hand side by Quintero. And England have been able to get back in good numbers. Arias, the right back, gets it back from Quintero. It was those two who broke very effectively together. Quintero's claiming there was a handball there against Lingard. Referee Geiger ignores that, and the ball runs out of play off Mina for a throw-in to England just down in front of us.
A terrific tempo about the game now, isn't it? The first couple of minutes they sort of looked at each other and dropped off, and thought you can have it for a few seconds, but now it's come to life.
Cuadrado with a touch in the centre circle, and then the ball finds its way over there to the far side to Mojica. Colombia 0, England 0. And England, having had a series of set pieces, free kick and corners, not able to force a save out of Ospina, just had to take a couple of catches. Here's Arias again on the right hand side, very highly rated. He's just won the league with PSV Eindhoven in the Netherlands. The number 4, the right back, might well be on the move during the course of this summer, possibly to the Premier League. The ball's been won back by Trippier, and it's bounced to Harry Kane. Trippier was held back there, but Kane takes it on through the middle, but then gives it back to Lingard. 1-2 Lingard with Sterling. Still the orange boots of Lingard in possession. And then a pass to Young. Young goes past Arias. Young now, Sterling tried to give it back to Young in the area, but it was blocked towards the dead ball line, and I'm not sure that Barrios kept that in. He didn't. It's a corner.
Yeah, it's another corner to England. We've seen the benefit replay. At first I thought he did, but I thought he did as well there. Well, the replay shows he did there. So
once we get a moment, we will have a word from Terry Butcher, who is watching from ground level. But Young with this corner. The referee's got his hands full here. Henderson makes a little run. Young still waits. Kane and Maguire at the back post. There's a Colombian gone down, and that's given us a free kick against John Stones.
They're clever how they make it the other way, don't they? They go down first and they're saying we're not doing anything. They're holding him. He said he's got his hands full. I think the Colombians have as well, but you can just see there, look, John Stones does push him away. Obviously he falls to the floor very dramatically, gets the free kick.
10 minutes played, Colombia 0, England 0. What have you made of the start, Terry Butcher, down at pitch level?
Well, it's fast, it's right down the other end to me. I can't see much, I need binoculars, but I'll tell you what, when England get the ball and move the ball quickly up to Sterling's one-on-one against the big boy Mina. Height disadvantage, of course, but more of a an advantage on the floor. Get the ball to Sterling a lot quicker. He got a free kick just outside the box, didn't he? If England can get the ball to Sterling one-on-one against Mina, that's where they'll get in.
Thanks, Terry. Kieran Trippier wins a header which is deflected out of play near the halfway line on the far side of the field. 2 tiers all the way round. Hospitality boxes dotted around the central section. Diego Maradona is one of those. He's been invited by FIFA this evening as a special guest. So's Juan Pablo Angel, by the way, as well as a Colombian guest. Another Colombian we know well from the Premier League. And the Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev is here as well. Here is John Stones with the ball halfway inside his own half. Stones, scorer of 2 goals, his first 2 for England against Panama. The last time most of these players played, 9 days ago. That wasn't the case with Colombia, who had to win and did, and won the group. And Raheem Sterling, well, Mina is all over him, and he must be, if we're talking chocolate bars, he's a full selection box taller than Raheem Sterling, and he was over the back of him.
That was a little bit like it's a knockout, innit? When you get the big thing jump on the little thing, trying to ride it away to...
I saw you with your little Russian dolls, by the way.
Yeah.
The video on social media. Very good. Raheem Sterling was one of... Was he the last one?
It was either him or Kieran Trippier was the little one.
You can see that on the 5 Live social media feed. Free kick, forward of the centre circle for England. Trippier and Young. Looks as though it's going to be Trippier who's going to lift it in. But this is a major feature of this match so far. The tangling between defenders and England forwards. Here's the delivery from Trippier, but it's headed away. There's a flick from Quintero. Cuadrado had to make ground behind himself and then plays it back to Sanchez, who hits it long downfield. Young with a header. Oh, that's missed. An air kick. Sterling edge of the area. Opens up. He shoots straight into the back of Davinson Sanchez. Now, Dele Alli is beaten to a bouncing ball. Trippier, though, takes it on past Mojica. Could be something for England down the right-hand side. Mojica, the number 17, has got back into position, though, and has taken the ball away from Trippier. And then it's played forward by Davinson Sanchez. 0-0.
It's all England, John, and you can see the game plan from Colombia is just basically frustrate, hope England tire out, then they can get up the field themselves and maybe put some football together. But at the minute, it's all England, and Colombia just stopping them playing.
Their coach, Jose Peckerman, is watching on. He's 68 years old. He's got silvery hair. He's got rather a ghostly look to him, I always think. But he has reached the World Cup quarterfinals twice as a coach, with Argentina, his native Argentina, and also with Colombia 4 years ago. The first time that Colombia have reached the last 8 of the World Cup, and they're looking to match that here. But it's 0-0. Ball out towards the left-hand side. Here is Mojica again. 2 England players with him, Dele Alli and Trippier. Mojica takes it on down the left, and then Trippier puts in a very strong challenge to take the ball, and a bit of the man. It's a throw-in only, played it back off Mojica, and a throw-in to England in their right-back position.
And I think that's the weakness of the back four, Mojica, for me. I think if you can get Sterling, I know he's playing more of a centre-forward at the minute, and he's getting crowded out. A lot of times he picks the ball up, but I think you get a lot of joy if he went and stood out there.
He was at Rayo Vallecano, Johan Mojica, moved to Girona and is now signed permanently, and he is operating. There's an awful lot being asked of him as left back and also as an attacking force down the left hand side. Throw-in taken up towards Harry Kane, but it bounces off the England captain and out of play for a throw-in near the halfway line to Colombia that Mojica will take. Brilliant atmosphere. You can hear the drums. I presume that's the England band.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised at all if there was a Colombian band. And it's a feature as well, we've noticed. The South Americans, many of them have actually come as families with little children, all the way from South America to Russia. Here's Ospina. High pass out towards this side, the Colombian right. And Arias tangles with Young. The ball evades both of them, and it's out of play for a throw-in to England. Arias is complaining that Young's challenge should have been given as a free kick.
I think a lot of people were surprised the selection of the referee.
Mark Geiger from the United States. Here's Trippier, who plays it down the right flank, and this time Lingard catches up with it. Lingard up against Jefferson Lerma, and then the overlapping run. It's swung to the back post, and a hanging header from Harry Kane lands on the roof of the net.
Oh, what a great move. Trippier really gets great control of the ball. What perfectly timed run. Oh, and Harry Kane just can't get above it to head it down. He heads that down. Trippier wonderful across the far post. Harry Kane's always reaching, but if he could just head it down, that's 1-0 England. But it goes over, lands on the roof of the net.
Kane was beyond the far post. The cross was whipped by Trippier, and Kane threw himself at it and ended up diving off the pitch, a little bit like Trevor Francis when he scored
it's European goal,
the European Cup final goal against Malmo, but he couldn't direct it into the roof of the net, and it landed on
England's
the top.
got to capitalise though, John, in this so far. They're dominating the game. They've got to put the ball in the net, because they will tire. They always do. We know that. And you don't want Colombia coming out second half dominating the play.
And we can see, can't we, that Quintero and Cuadrado and potentially Falcao could potentially carry danger when Colombia break forwards on the counter-attack. Ospina, the Arsenal goalkeeper, 29 years old, clears it up towards the halfway line. Maguire wins a header, and now in centre field it's played back to the number 5, Wilmar Barrios, who's one of the 2 players that came into the Colombia side. Lerma as well in midfield, central midfield. No James Rodriguez, not on the bench either, injured, that calf problem. And England playing the same team. If you just switched on, if you've got back into your car on the way home, England the same team that played against Tunisia in the first match at this World Cup. These two tonight playing for a place in the quarter-finals of the World Cup, where they would play Sweden on Saturday in Samara. Here is Carlos Sanchez, sent off in the 3rd minute of the first match. Plays the ball back towards the halfway line, and Colombia with a little spell of possession for themselves. After good England pressure, won 4 corners. Harry Kane has had that header, and here they come now with Cuadrado of Juventus. Quintero moves in field. Dele Alli though has gone with him and staying very tight. Little Quintero, who can only be 5'6", 5'8".
Very good player.
Swings the ball out towards the left-hand side, and now Colombia start again with Jefferson Lerma, and now stepping forward from the back, Big Yerry Mina. Quintero on the right-hand side, a left-footed ball over the top, but that will bounce harmlessly through to Pickford from an England point of view.
Do you know when he picks the ball at Quintero? If I was Falcao or Cuadrado, I'd just make runs, because he's got that much ability in that left foot. You know, already in the game he's been their best player by far. He sees a pass, he needs movement.
Kyle Walker's tripped over as he runs the ball away from the penalty area. Free kick which England take quickly. Here's one up towards Harry Kane. Mina has gone with him. Kane actually moves into his own half before he plays it back towards John Stones. Return pass from Jordan Henderson. Stones now a little ball to Sterling square towards Kane. Now Dele Alli gets involved as well. England playing from right to left. The score is 0-0. And John Stones whistles from all of these Colombian supporters in the stadium here in Moscow, because England are in possession. Harry Maguire up towards Kane. Once again, Barrios this time is extremely tight on Harry Kane. They are very, very aware of the Kane danger. Kane then spins a pass out towards the right-hand side. Goodness, he struck that well. Trippier now with the ball at his feet. Trippier looking for support, and Mojica puts in the challenge. So a huge cheer from the Colombian fans, but all he can do is pass it straight out of play for a throw. 0-0.
Well, so far, I think the teams are playing into Colombia's hands, going in the middle all the time. They've got a lot of yellow shirts in the middle of the park and in front of the centre halves. I think they're going to get more joy, as we saw Trippier put a cross in from the byline on the right. We need Ashley Young to get further forward and wider.
0-0, almost 20 minutes played. As I say, these England players, most of them, 9 changes from the Belgium game. Only Pickford and Stones are the two to keep their places and have started all of the matches at this World Cup so far, whereas Colombia had to win their second 2 group matches against Poland, which they did very well, 3-0 remember, and 1-0 against Senegal to win the group. Here's Dele Alli on the left hand side. Ali does well, holds off 2 men. Sterling then into the area, but Barrios went with him, and Sterling, as he looked to poke it across, missed it, and it rolled behind for a goal kick.
He's getting some good areas there, Sterling, but his touch has deserted him tonight, hasn't it? And he's had 1 shot blocked, but yeah, he's got to look after the ball a lot better.
He tried to check it back and missed it. At the same time also, I mean, Barrios was certainly touch tight. He had his hands on his chest. that Sterling had already lost the ball over the dead ball line. Colombia 0, England 0. So we've played 20 minutes. England have had the better of it. England have had a number of set pieces, but we're all still waiting for the first goal of this last 16 match. Sweden winning 1-0 against Switzerland up in St. Petersburg in our first commentary match of the day. In football, at least, we've had a number of tennis commentary matches for you. Wimbledon coverage will continue tomorrow at 11 o'clock on 5 Live Sports Extra. Ball played up towards Harry Kane near the edge of the box. Davinson Sanchez wins it against his clubmate, the two Tottenham men. And Cuadrado now has the ball for Colombia here on the right-hand side and makes good ground down the right. Dele Alli has tracked his run. Arias is there as well. Quintero, who's played mainly on the rightish side. Quintero, yellow shirt outside his white shorts, then begins to weave back towards the right. Cuadrado makes himself available. Mojica is there out on the far side, but Cuadrado keeps it centrally and goes back towards the halfway line to Davinson Sanchez. The little number 5, Barrios, now pulls a pass here to the right-hand side to Carlos Sanchez. Sanchez goes for a quick ball towards Falcao, centrally just outside the D, and then a touch from Quintero. Cuadrado hits a shot, it deflects to Falcao, but Falcao couldn't get the ball under control, and it's stabbed away by Maguire, only to Mojica, who hits an awful shot, which flies away not far away from where Terry Butcher is sitting behind the goal. So give us another thought, Terry.
Well, it missed me by miles, John, so I'm pretty safe here, but Cuadrado is the one for me on the right-hand side coming in. He's in between. Harry Maguire doesn't know if to go down to him. John Stones doesn't know because Falcao came short and got the ball. John Stones has got to concentrate a little bit more and make sure that they pick up these runs before they make any danger. But Cuadrado is the one. If you allow him to get on the ball, he's very dangerous. But sporadic attack from Colombia, England dominating so far. But as Chris says, haven't made it count.
John Stones is in possession. He has his back to Terry. We're looking across at him, slightly left of the halfway line, but we really feel where we're sitting here, part of the atmosphere inside this stadium this evening. Here is Dele Alli now through the middle. Ashley Young has Arias snapping away at him, and Arias got a touch, and that's carried it to Quintero, and Quintero slips it through the legs of Harry Maguire, and now Cuadrado is looking for Falcao, and Walker was able to adjust and play it away to Kieran Trippier. Just a couple of instances, the last 2 Colombian attacks, where England have just been stretched a little as Colombia come forward, and now they've got a throw in on the far side, Colombia.
They carry a threat, John. It's not, they're not a bad side. We're not saying that England should just be dominating the game all the time. You have got to be aware, Cuadrado, especially for me, as I've said earlier, Quintero is real talent.
Yeah, Quintero centrally at the moment. But the ball's back on the halfway line with Cuadrado. There's lots of movement in this system that Peckerman is playing tonight. Lots of movement. And now Lerma, high pass towards the right flank, but Ashley Young wins it in the air. That's already a very good contest. Arias against Young on this side of the field. Arias now, Quintero cuts it back and beats Dele Alli and then slips the ball through to Arias in the box, but Harry Maguire glides across and is able to take the ball away and play it towards the halfway line. Yeah, Colombia having a good spell here, a good 5 minutes, and England, for the first time in the game, are having to accept that Colombia have possession, and they're having to play the game in their own half while Colombia have the ball. Cuadrado on the right-hand side. Cuadrado then goes back to Mina, and then Barrios. Little ball through the middle towards Carlos Sanchez. I noticed that Peckerman, the coach, dedicated their win over Poland to Carlos Sanchez, who was suspended for that match. Well, there's a poor pass from Lerma, which sails over the head of Cuadrado, who gives Lerma quite a glare, and the ball's out of play for a throw-in to England. So it's Colombia 0, England 0. England also playing tonight back home at Old Trafford in the 2020. England are batting, and we have commentary on that over on 5 Live Sports Extra. Jimmy Anderson's part of the team again on BBC Radio, so you can listen to that 5 Live Sports Extra online, also via the BBC Sport app, and obviously we'll keep you across the score here on 5 Live as well. Harry Kane goes for an aerial ball with Mina, and then it's swept away by Davinson Sanchez, but only back to the red shirts of England, and not much in that from Carlos Sanchez on Dele Alli. Down he went though, Dele Alli, and won the free kick.
Yeah, they give silly free kicks away. Sometimes there's so eager to win the ball back, Colombia, but the game's sort of levelled off now. We've come up with 25 minutes. England started very brightly, used a lot of energy. They've just slightly come off the pace, but again they've got a set piece here, and we know how threatening they are.
Colombia 0, England 0. Young and Lingard over the free kick. It's about 4 strides in from the nearest touchline to us, just down in front of us. Ashley Young, and again the earlier theme now is back with us as Ashley Young drives it in towards the back post, looking for Maguire, who did get his head to it, but it touched the head of Davinson Sanchez as well, and that's taken it behind for an England corner. There was Maguire, the target.
Yeah,
again.
It's worked well for them in this World Cup so far. He gets away, gets half a yard. Yeah, there's a collision, and gives Davinson Sanchez some credit there. He gets just in time.
Did well, Sanchez there, Davinson Sanchez. So it's a corner. Trippier to take this one, pushing and shoving. I mean, the referee's standing right next to it. He could almost reach out and touch them. And
it should be used to seeing things like this. It's like an NFL game.
It's Lerma who's in the middle of it, in between Maguire and Stones.
It's ridiculous. It's every game's like this.
So it is an England corner. Lots of movement. Stones now trying to find some space. Maguire as well. Here's Trippier with the delivery, and it's headed away by Mina, who got up and won that in no uncertain terms. And now Kyle Walker has to be quick, but of course we know that he is, and Walker gets there ahead of Arias on the halfway line to steer it all the way back to Pickford. I mentioned I'd update you on the England score. England 159 for 8 in their 20 overs against India, the first match of the international summer between England and India, and we'll keep you across the Indian innings once it begins. As I say, commentary 5 Live Sports Extra. Maguire got the ball near the halfway line. Jesse Lingard drops very deep. 0-0. And really, in terms of chances, England have had quite a lot of possession. They've had the corners, they've had 5 corners, but Harry Kane's header that landed on the roof of the net is the closest that we've come to an opening goal in this match.
Yeah, I think England's been the better side. As you say, they've had a lot more possession. Not really, the goalkeepers have not really had a save to make, either keeper. So, yeah, England have a lot of ball, but they just can't find that final cross, final pass. Harry Kane's probably had the best chance, which was a difficult one.
Yeah, here's Young playing it back towards the centre circle to Kyle Walker, now very much established as a central defender in this first choice England starting lineup, which we now know it is. Here is Young towards Lingard. Lingard's little ball towards Harry Kane. Kane, the top scorer at this World Cup, remember, with 5 goals. Sterling, little flick on the edge of the area from Ali. Thought it had slipped it through to Lingard, but it was blocked on the edge of the penalty area. Mojica is being forced to run the ball back into his left back position, and then wins a throw-in.
The pressing and everything's great. The tempo's good, Johnny. It's just final ball. Relax on the ball, make the pitch bigger at times. Get wide, move it quicker, switch the play. Oh no, that is ridiculous.
That was Falcao felt Trippier behind him, and Falcao literally dived with arms apart as if he was jumping into a swimming pool.
That would have been a belly flop if he had. That was shocking. How was the referee by that? And the linesman's 2 yards away.
That's one of the dives of the World Cup.
Greg Louganis will be proud of that one.
Free kick won by Falcao nevertheless, and it's still Colombia 0, England 0. There's brilliant Colombian sound inside the stadium in Moscow. That's the World Cup for you, isn't it? The sound of Colombia comes to Moscow. Free kick taken by Ospina. Trippier gets up very well to head it forwards for England, and then Dele Alli beaten in the air by Carlos Sanchez, but Harry Maguire is there to lift it forwards for Sterling to chase. Sterling up against Davinson Sanchez, does well. Sterling beats Davinson Sanchez onto his left foot, shoots straight into Yerry Mina, who came across the edge of the penalty area, and Colombia are able to clear it. Only partially away though. England back in possession. Maguire gets a touch, and then Stones, now Walker as well. This is good confidence, good touch from England here, and certainly the threat from Sterling we saw there. Sterling with a flick, but he doesn't find Lingard because it was deflected, and then Ashley Young might just be in to nick the ball back, but as he did so, he actually lost possession, and Arias now finds Cuadrado. Quintero's interested. Cuadrado back onto his right foot. Quintero then reverse passes it straight out of play. We've played half an hour. It's Colombia 0, England 0, and let's just get a feeling from you and Terry, Chris, on how England have fared so far.
I think they've done well, apart from where Sterling, for me, Sterling's been on the ball in great areas, but if you give Quintero, if you look the other way, he looks at them little passes, he slows up, composure, he sees them balls. If he was playing for England now, England would be winning this game 2 or 3-0 in my eyes. Sterling gets in the positions, gets the space, doesn't really sit at the right time, doesn't see the pass, and that's cost England so far.
What about you, Terry?
Yeah, it's just that fast tempo England are playing. The players seem to be... It's too fast for the players. They haven't got their touch right, and consequently when Sterling's in good positions, he's tried 1 or 2 little flicks and layoffs and they haven't been right, and good chances or good possession in good areas has just gone to waste. But England dominating this game, you sort of think, well, a goal is coming, you just need to have a shot or good possession in their half, but I think it's going to come. If they just keep playing this way, I think it will.
Cuadrado goes for a long ball over the top, but Maguire did well, and Maguire is able to shepherd the ball out of play. Pass from Sanchez, Cuadrado challenging Maguire, and Maguire's now complaining to the assistant there that there was a little bit of naughtiness, I think, from Cuadrado.
That was next to Terry. Terry, what did you see there?
Yeah, Cuadrado's just, Harry Maguire's looked at him, the ball's running out of play, he's never going to get the ball, and Cuadrado's just tried to shoulder charge him. He's like shoulder charged him on Harry Maguire's chest, and Harry Maguire sort of bounced off him. I would have just laughed in his face if I was Harry Maguire. I wouldn't have got involved in all the histrionics. I would have just laughed in his face and said, fancy yourself, sunshine? No chance.
Former England captain Terry Butcher, who's watching from behind the goal at that end, just a few yards away from where Maguire and Cuadrado jostled with one another. Ball headed forward towards Falcao, lays it back. Quintero snatched at the shot and dragged it well wide from just outside the D.
They've not really come to terms, England, with Quintero at times, haven't they? Luckily enough, that Falcao's movement has not been very good, because Quintero's had a lot of time and space, and he's got a wonderful left foot, but that time he had a shot which was wildly went mad, went really wide, so, but you've just got to keep an eye on him, because he can make something happen.
Yeah. Colombia 0, England 0. BBC Radio 5 Live. Of course, the World Cup daily podcast will be out in the morning. Make sure that you download it when you wake up, and you'll hear all of the news. We'll bring you all of the interviews. Whatever happens here tonight, we'll be down in the tunnel talking to Gareth Southgate and a number of the England players, and you'll hear all of that, as well as the usual array of World Cup guests on the 5 Live World Cup Daily podcast. Here's Maguire playing it through towards Sterling, to Lingard. Lingard twists away to his left. Dele Alli is there. Dele Alli, who's taken up some good positions, Chris, but not yet been able to make them count. Here's Sterling with a run, but he just runs into the challenge, and now it's brought away by Jefferson Lerma, and Lerma, who's rather slowed this Colombian break, and is actually now running cross-field and rolling the ball across towards Arias. Cuadrado says, "Give it to me," which he does. A little drop of the shoulder, and then Quintero, who's another one who's always wanting it. He's off on a run, but Dele Alli is able to step across and take the ball away from him. And then Ashley Young plays it back to Pickford, who takes a touch and then sweeps the ball away downfield, but only onto the chest of Carlos Sanchez.
I tell you what, he's doing a great job for them. Barrios at 5. He's just sitting in front of 2 centre-halves, and he becomes a centre-half. When Sterling goes high, he goes into the back 3. When Sterling goes short, he steps in. They've worked really hard at this system. You can see Colombia to stop England.
Yep. He was highlighted, wasn't he, by Tim Vickery before the game. There have been reports of Tottenham interest in Wilmar Barrios, who is 24 years old, sturdy little figure. Here is Quintero, who's now off on a run towards the edge of the penalty area, but John Stones is able to move across away from Falcao and clear it towards the halfway line. He does look isolated, doesn't he, Falcao, as the lone striker. 0-0. Cuadrado, who's now central, plays the ball across, but Dele Alli got a block on that. Still bounced to Sanchez though for Colombia. 10 minutes to go to half time. It's still 0-0. And even though the game has been played at some pace, we've really yet to see a clear-cut goal-scoring opportunity. Stones is able to volley the ball away, a sort of cushion volley towards Dele Alli. And now Maguire at the back. Maguire plays it back to Stones, who passes the ball between Falcao and Cuadrado. Fortunately, Dele Alli was there. And now Harry Maguire steps out with it. Big Harry Maguire, 10 yards inside the Colombian half, uses Harry Kane. Kane square to Henderson. Henderson now just rolls it invitingly across into the path of Lingard. Back to Henderson. Henderson's ball over the top, evades everyone. Kane peeled away from Arias, but it's through for a goal kick.
It's the first we've saw of Jordan Henderson, haven't we? You've not really saw him in the game at all. He's never been on the ball, he's never had off the back three, not really won any tackles. That's the first time I've really saw him come into the game.
Against Tunisia, Chris, if you remember, his influence increased as the game went on, and England needed him that.
He's got a lot of responsibility playing in front of that three, and there's a lot of movement. Quintero's dropping in behind him, Retham right of him, and it's a difficult role to try and keep an eye on players who are dropping off.
Colombia 0, England 0. On our television screen here, I think that was Lothar Matthäus, wasn't it?
It was.
We just saw a shot of. That's just to annoy you and Terry. He's here as a FIFA guest as well, Lothar Matthäus. Here is Falcao for Colombia, but couldn't wriggle away from the England defence, and Walker was able to play it back towards Pickford. John Stones has a look over his shoulder, there's no one there, so Stones is able to run the ball away towards the halfway line. Harry Kane again has dropped extremely deep, to the extent that he's inside his own half. He's done that on a number of occasions. Kane actually playing as almost a holding midfielder in the position that he is at the moment. Then passes the ball forward. Kane gradually makes ground through the middle while England have possession on the left. Sterling and Lingard. Now it is with Kane. Kane tried to slip the pass through towards Sterling's run, and it was just cut out, but it comes back to Harry Kane, middle of the Colombia half. Dele Alli back to Kane. That's the Tottenham understanding. Kane tries to take it on, and then in dives Lerma, fouls Kane, brings him down, and it's a free kick in a good position that Dele Alli was thinking about taking quickly, and Sanchez actually stepped in front of him.
No, I think we've got to take the time here. You need a shot on goal, and Harry Kane, no, doesn't fancy it, so it's probably Trippier. It was a free kick. We've seen the benefit of a replay. Trippier's putting the ball down.
Kane's okay. That's a massive issue with England, isn't it? What England do at this World Cup in these knockout stages, it feels that Harry Kane is absolutely pivotal to that. If he'd scored with that header, I mean, that would have been some goal if he'd been able to get to that, because he made so much ground to get in there and get his head to it. But anyway, he's won the free kick here, and it's a free kick in a position left of centre, and given the angle, this will be 22, 23 yards, and the referee Mark Geiger seems to be struggling to get the wall back.
It's a great position. I think the wall's that big as well. You can get it up and over from where you are. It is very possible, but for me, I'd whip it with a bit of pace and aim where the goalie's standing, to the right of the wall. I wouldn't go over it. I'd go to where the goalie's standing, because the goalkeeper at that angle thinks you're going to go over the wall. There's no doubt about that.
I'm not sure what is the problem here with this. I mean, now Lingard's got involved.
Who's gone down?
And there's an England player, Jordan Henderson, who's down holding his head. Lingard's seen something.
Oh, he's asking for VAR. He said he's been nutted
and
head-butted.
And now actually we're going to see a shot of this as well, there's not a huge amount in that.
No,
I don't think. From it's Barrios, who puts his head into the chest of Jordan Henderson and catches his jaw, and Henderson actually goes down. Henderson goes down holding his face.
Well, I'd be surprised if there's anything happens here. Ashley Young's having a go at the linesman.
It's actually one of those. I wonder whether he's actually bitten his tongue, maybe, Jordan Henderson, because it's one of those where you get a bash on the chin. They are checking though on VAR to see what they make of that, and the referee is going to call across Barrios.
I think he's just going to he's giving him a yellow.
It's a yellow card.
Yeah. I mean, he shouldn't have done what he did. I don't know why they're squabbling. If you stand on the end of the wall, you're allowed to.
Still players are gathered around, and the referee is talking to Barrios, who incidentally will miss the next match because that's his second yellow card of the World Cup. So if Colombia get through to play Sweden, we won't be seeing Wilmar Barrios. Right call that, Chris?
Yeah, when you look at the replay, yeah, he shouldn't do what he did. Listen, you only pushed and shoving. Why do you need to do anything like that?
Because it wasn't, overtly aggressive, yeah?
Yeah, so, he's given me yellow. Could easily be in a red, mate, but...
The thing is, the whole thing there was created because surely it's a simple process. The referee sprays his white line, which he is now doing.
Yeah.
And, it's very simple to get the players behind the white line. And I'm not sure what the issue was. England players were standing in front of the Colombian wall. Harry Maguire's round the back. Henderson has recovered from his bang on the chin. Trippier's still waiting. And this has taken an absolute age. I think Cuadrado is standing.
Yeah, he's about 4 yards
Trippier's going to take the free kick over the wall, but wide of the goal.
To be honest, he's hit that well, but you've got to hit the target. He's got it up and over the wall quite easily, but he's a good what? He's a good 2-3 yards wide of the post, so he struck it really well. Got to hit the target.
41 minutes played. Colombia 0, England 0. BBC Radio 5 Live. And if you haven't heard, if you've been at work or out and about, Sweden won earlier, so England, if they win this, if they get through this, will play Sweden in the quarter-final on Saturday, which will be 3 o'clock in the United Kingdom, 3 o'clock BST in Samara. We will have a 6:06 after the match tonight. Kelly Cates will be overseeing operations. I think you're involved, Chris Sutton as well, and Terry Butcher. And we'll let you know when the lines are open. But Colombia 0, England 0. Just the way that the game's going, I think it's entirely possible that it could deteriorate in the second half because so much is at stake, and Colombia have taken this approach with the 3 central midfielders, relying a lot on Cuadrado and Quintero and obviously Falcao up front through the middle. The 32-year-old playing in his first World Cup, Radamel Falcao, who was actually named after the famous Falcao of 1982, because it's his middle name. His father gave him the name of Falcao. Here is Quintero. Quintero looks for Falcao, but it wasn't on as an option, so uses Cuadrado, who runs his foot over the ball, and then Dele Alli is able to get a little touch in. That was one of the Champions League confrontations we watched this week, Dele Alli and Cuadrado.
He's not feeling his thigh there again, is he?
Dele Alli?
No.
He rolled off the pitch, and I think Gareth Southgate suggesting to the fourth official that there might have been a bang of heads there. But anyway, he's okay, Dele Alli. It's 0-0, half-time approaching, and the ball is curled forward by Lerma, but straight through to Jordan Pickford, who overarms it out to Trippier on the far side. Back it comes towards Kyle Walker. Walker up towards Sterling, who gets a little tug, but no free kick. Colombia with Quintero. Quintero whips the ball forward, but there's far too much on that, and it will run away through for a goal kick to England. So really, just the one chance, and even that was a half chance for Kane.
Yeah, Kane's chance, but England being a better side, possession-wise, looked good tempo about them. You can see what Colombia's game plan is. They're just basically playing for a chance, a set piece, a counter-attack. And they'll be quite happy now, John, to go all the way through to a shootout. You can see the way they've set up. They really are a bit scared of England. You can see how they've put so many yellow shirts behind the ball.
Kane wins a header against Davinson Sanchez. Then Kane gets it back. There's a little bit of space. He's going to have a shot, which he does, but it bounces away across the face of goal. And then Sterling and Mina have got involved in something. And there's a bit of niggle certainly in this game now. There's no question about that. Sterling, Mina ended up on the ground, and I mean, how Sterling ended up,
well, that is little and large,
flooring Mina is anyone's wonder.
Well, he's grabbed a hold of him, not that.
Mina's got his arms around Sterling. So Sterling's got his hands around.
No.
Sterling's got his hands around grabbing Mina's shorts, and then,
well, what is he falling over for? Look, watch Mina here. Well, if we can see it, we don't see this on the replay, but Trevor Burbeck, after Mike Tyson hit him, comes to mind.
3 minutes of added time. Surprised it's only 3 minutes.
Yeah, true.
Took 3 minutes to take that free kick. Colombia 0, England 0. Mark Chapman's here with us in the stadium, the Spartak Moscow Stadium, and we'll have Mark with us at half-time as Ospina takes this Goal kick. Cuadrado bounces off him. Quintero. Now Arias leaning back. Young puts in the challenge. Arias gets up, and then Dele Alli is able to block it out of play for a throw-in down the right flank. Arias is in no hurry here to recover the ball from in front of the England dugout. No James Rodriguez. If you haven't heard that news, the great Colombian star, who is the top scorer at the World Cup, scored that brilliant goal, remember, against Uruguay. You and I were watching it, weren't we, the other day? Ball's played forward for Colombia. Harry Maguire heads it away. Dele Alli feels that he was bundled over by Lerma. No free kick. Falcao's got it on the right-hand side. Falcao trying to cross, blocked by two defenders for England. Now Arias again. Arias to Quintero on his left foot. Shoots, but it's straight at Pickford. It dipped rather awkwardly. I think it might have taken a little deflection, but Pickford dealt with it securely.
You can't give Quintero that much space, John, on the edge of the box. He's got a great left foot, we saw already in this game, and he didn't probably hit it as well as he liked, but can't give him that space. That's probably one chance all.
Colombia's first chance from 23 yards out in added time at the end of the first half. England, perhaps one last attack of this first period. 0-0. Lingard out to the right, then the ball comes in. Sterling was after it, was cleared away, and then Lingard stretches for it. 12-13 yards from goal, but can only shoot high over the crossbar.
Great ball in. Trippier again getting down that right, really asking questions with that cross. Sterling was just coming in behind it. It was a good header, and Lingard was always high. Oh, Dele Alli is injured.
Ali has a problem.
Yep.
He did clash with Arias just a few moments ago when he rolled off the pitch.
I think it was the way he fell, John. I think I'm not sure if he's tweaked his muscle, which he's had a problem with. There's something not right.
He's on his back, and now he rolls over onto his knees, and he's got the I mean, he always has this strapping on his legs, doesn't he, this sort of surgical tape. But Dele Alli, who obviously went off injured during the Tunisia game, had the problem, the thigh problem, and is now being very carefully looked at by the England medical people. Harry Kane is a concerned observer.
Oh, it's actually a kick in. Well, it's a kick. I thought when he fell over, he's been caught there. But when he fell in the other dugout, I thought he tweaked something there. He looked like he wasn't happy when he got up.
Yeah, I think it might have been caught in the nether regions there.
True.
So maybe it's not too much of a worry, at least in the long term. Colombia 0, England 0. Dele Alli has been led off the field, and I think he's okay.
It's going to be half time now anyway.
Yeah, it is. Goal kick, Ospina to take it. I think this might be the last action of the first half. Ali still waiting to come back onto the field. Ospina takes an age to take this goal kick, which he does now. Harry Maguire wins the header on the halfway line against Lerma, and then Barrios nods it forward. Quintero stabs it up towards Falcao. Falcao to the far side to Mojica with his white wristbands on. Mojica. Now Lerma allows it to run to Arias. Still we play on. 4 minutes of added time have been played. Cuadrado plays it in, rather daintily cleared away by John Stones, who readjusted. And then Falcao coming from an offside position. And it's a free kick to England in front of their own penalty area.
Well, as I say, John, England's been the better side, but it's been quite scrappy.
I could see it. Couldn't you see it becoming very cagey in the second half?
It's going to slow down the pace, and if you get a chance, you've got to take it.
Well, I hope everyone's nerves are up to it back home. England in the knockout stages of a major tournament. We all know the penalty record, and we all know that they've won only 2 matches in knockout stages of the major tournament since Euro 96. And it's 0-0 at half-time, and the England players trot towards this side of the field, led off the field by John Stones and Jordan Henderson. The Colombian players are walking off the field. Ashley Young just has something to say to referee Geiger. But half-time here in Moscow, it is Colombia 0, England 0. And Mark Chapman is here with us, and we'll have questions for Terry Butcher and Chris Waddle, I'm sure.
Do you think England just need a bit more composure?
Well, that's it. What we haven't got a player in the squad who's like that. We haven't got a player. I'm going to use Quintero as an example. We haven't got a player like that who's very clever. When he gets the ball, you think, whoa, something's going to happen here. Sterling goes too quick, runs too quick, moves too quick, so he's very erratic on the ball. So at times it looks great. You think, wow, he's gone past one, but he doesn't slow up and have that composure to say, here, go and put that in the net. We haven't got a player in midfield, or we haven't got a player up front who can do that.
Whereas actually Colombia have more of the composure, but aren't prepared to really risk it. I mean, if Falcao had a bit more support, they actually might cause some problems.
I don't think Falcao is. I don't know if he's got support or not. I don't think he's the man. If Harry Kane was playing up front for Colombia, he'd get a lot of good service from Quintero because of his movement and how Quintero sees things. We haven't got a player like that. So you've seen Harry Kane actually this half come pretty deep at times to come and get on the ball, which you don't normally see.
Do you think the yellow was the right decision there? Because if you put your head into someone, and Jordan Henderson may have gone down easily, who knows, but if you put your head into someone, that's a red card, isn't it?
Well, we've seen a lot of decisions, Mark. We're going to talk on that one. It could have been a red, he's given a yellow. There's a lot of decisions we've saw in this World Cup which should have been red and been yellows. Some have not even been booked when they've been fouls, deliberate fouls, and they've not been booked. So the standard of refereeing, and we don't like talking about refereeing, let's be honest, but the standard's been very inconsistent yet again.
Terry, you won't have seen obviously that at your end, and we've got the benefits of monitors and you haven't. But to go back to the very first question I asked Chris, it's about composure, is it?
Yeah, in the final third especially. I think on they've worked the ball well from the back. The left-hand side's still a problem for England because Ashley Young's never got down like Trippier has. So we're imbalanced on that side, and to have somebody that could get down that left-hand side. And I'm just about to get soaked there with his sprinkler. His Loftus-Cheek just altered the height of the sprinkler. I'll have a word with him later on because I just got a bit soaked there, but never mind. Things I do for the BBC, but I just think that you're right about the composure. England have worked the ball really, really well up to the final third. Just a bit more from Sterling in particular. He's trying to lay people in. I think he's just got to be a bit more selfish. The ball's got to stick up there with Harry Kane and with Sterling as well. But soon, and the thing I pointed out earlier about Sterling one-on-one against the centre half, if England can get him into that position in this second half as well, when the game does stretch out, he could capitalise and take him on. But I'm thinking that they've done pretty well. It's just about finding that final ball and just about holding the ball up in the final third.
What you do realise, certainly when you have a position as low down as this one is in the press area, and you will certainly gather from the level you're at, is just how quick this game is.
Wow,
Terry.
yeah, it's absolutely lightning. They're zipping the ball about. I'm thinking, how did I ever play football? Because it's so quick, it really is. And they've got control over the ball up to a certain point, but better touch, better awareness. And sometimes, Chris is right, sometimes when the ball goes up to the strikers, it hasn't got to be a first-time layup. They've got to just make it stick, slow it down, and then release the ball. But what we've got to do is get the ball up to that final third, and then Colombia have problems then when it sticks.
Danny Murphy has just gestured in John Murray's direction. Either he wants to headbutt you, or that he thinks it was a red card.
Danny Murphy clearly feels that should have been a red card. I think the word was unbelievable that he used there. So as you say, if he's put his head into his chin, it's just, I don't know, it just felt to me that it wasn't, as I said at the time, it wasn't overtly aggressive. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
his head bumped into his chest, which bumped into his chin. I mean, he probably knew exactly what he was doing.
But if you put your head into someone, then that is foul play, isn't it?
I know what John's saying. He sort of went like that to his chest, and it sort of, as his head come up, it hit Jordan Henderson's chin. So I don't think he actually meant to go in there and lift it and hit him. I think he went into his chest basically to say, get away, and it sort of popped up in him in the chin. Yeah, he could have got a red. But he didn't.
But obviously Danny feels it was a definite red card.
I've got some. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, chappers. I'm lucky I'm sitting next to Gabriel Drake from ITV. He's got a monitor here, and it just showed Sterling coming off the pitch at half-time, and he's just gone by. He's very close to a Colombian coach, and the Colombian coach has just dropped his shoulder into Sterling, and he's like hit Sterling, and Sterling's gone well to the side and looked back at him, and he's then pointed. The coach has then pointed at Sterling and said, you should be careful, or whatever he's saying, but he just deliberately shoulder charged Sterling as he's coming off not Peckerman, but one of the coaches of Colombia. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What is all that about?
Funny enough, I saw the fourth official talking to one of the Colombian coaches.
That was it. Yeah, that was it.
That was obviously the aftermath of that, and one of the England fitness men was there as well, just sort of checking to see what was happening. So that adds to the feeling that there is just this bit of niggle, Terry, isn't there?
They're trying to wind the England players up. I mean, that's their method, obviously, and to get onto Sterling and try and unsettle him and all that sort of thing. That's what they're doing. England, they've got to be prepared for that.
Looking across social media, then there are three schools of thought at the moment. The first being that it was a red card, the second that Jordan Henderson might have gone down a little bit too easily, and the third being that the referee isn't really in control of this game, which it felt like in that last 15 minutes.
Yeah,
really.
And it could kick off second half if England want to score. You can see the Colombians getting a lot more aggressive, taking a lot of decisions to the limit. Just going back to the football, I was looking and Barrios is doing a great job for just playing as a centre-half in front, a sweeper come centre-half, and he keeps dropping. When Sterling goes high, he drops as a centre-half, as a 3. When he goes short, he goes in with him. So for Sterling, if you've got a little bit about you, just when the left-back's going quite high, which he is, just walk out. What's Barrios going to do then? Is he going to go out to the left wing? No. So you'll get the ball more.
Very interesting first half, maybe not the greatest quality, but interesting and plenty of talking points. 85058 hashtag BBC World Cup. 3 minutes to 10 here in Moscow, 3 minutes to 8 in the UK. Here's the latest news.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
A female health professional has been arrested on suspicion of the murder of 8 babies and the attempted murder of 6 more at a hospital in Cheshire. Police are investigating the deaths at the Countess of Chester between March 2015 and July 2016. Our reporter is Dave Guest.
This is a story that's been running for some time. They have never said much about how these babies died. And today, interestingly, they haven't said what sort of healthcare professional this person is who's been arrested. We don't know whether it's a doctor, a nurse, midwife, or what they're suspected of having done.
12 boys and their football coach who have been found alive after going missing in a flooded cave in Thailand may have to learn to dive in order to escape. A rescue team have managed to get emergency supplies to the group. Chris Jewell is from the British Cave Rescue Council.
It is unlikely that they can lower the water to sufficient level that they'll be able to get out without diving. The options are probably that the boys stay in for many months and have been resupplied. Another theory is the idea of drilling in from the surface. Again, has various problems locating a small chamber underground and drilling a long way.
A man who alleged there was a paedophile ring at the heart of Westminster has been charged with perverting the course of justice. Scotland Yard carried out an 18-month inquiry into his claims that high-profile figures had sexually assaulted and murdered children in the 70s and 80s. A British soldier has died in Estonia. The circumstances of the death of Private Rhys Miller from the 1st Battalion, the Yorkshire Regiment, are being investigated. The Chief Medical Officer for England says there is conclusive evidence of the beneficial use of cannabis in the treatment of some health conditions. Dame Sally Davies is now recommending the drug is taken off the controlled substances list and made available on prescription. And an octopus who correctly predicted all of Japan's World Cup results has been killed and turned into sashimi after they went out of the competition.
Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast.
What a World Cup it's been. I think one of the best ever. Roberto Martinez last night, 2 crucial substitutions.
The 2 Japanese goals were exceptional quality. Get Fellaini on, then Belgium got their rhythm after that.
What a second half of football it was. I was trying to do some work and keeping one eye on it and worrying about a deadline. I thought I might have to ease up on this deadline.
Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast. Back tomorrow from 8:30
on BBC Radio 5 Live.
5 Live Sport at the World Cup with Mark Chapman.
And it's goalless here in Moscow between Colombia and England. Second half on the way. Let's round up what's been going on at Wimbledon. Alistair Eakin.
Yes, good evening, Mark, and the action, of course, continuing here into the early evening. Novak Djokovic has finished up, though he opened his campaign in impressive style. The 3-times champion dropped just 6 games in total against Tennis Sangren, who made the Australian Open quarter-finals earlier in the year. Djokovic quickly into the groove and following the leads of other big guns, Federer and Nadal, in progressing to round 2. As regards the other live action taking place right now in the gloaming, Maria Sharapova's hoping to wrap up her first round out on court 2, and she's being watched by Sarah Orchard.
Yeah, the 5-time Grand Slam champion Maria Sharapova took that first set against her Russian compatriot Vitalia Diachenko, but it's all drawn at the moment in the second set at 5 games all. Meanwhile, Great Britain's Katie Dunn, she'd been waiting to see which court she was scheduled on for her match. She ended up getting centre court for the French Open champion Yelena Ostapenko, and the Latvian took the first set 6-3, but in the second it's currently 6-5 to Dunn. And just lastly, court 14, Heather Watson, she lost her first set 6-4 against the Belgian Kirsten Flipkins, and the second set just underway.
Thank you. Ideal sound effects to illustrate the fact that we are in fact watching Maria Sharapova, as if anybody would be in any doubt. Earlier on today, good wins for British hopes Jo Konta, Kyle Edmund and the wildcard Katie Boulter, but we lost the favourite for the women's title, the 2-times former champion Petra Kvitova, beaten by Alexandra Sasnovich of Belarus. In the shock of the day, we also lost the 6th seed Caroline Garcia, but another former winner went through in Garbina Muguruza, as did the aforementioned Nadal, Juan Martín del Potro and Alex Zverev in the men's draw. The French Open runner-up Dominic Thiem was beaten by Marcos Baghdatis, and Nick Kyrgios navigated his way into the second round before being spotted, Mark, on the players' balcony here earlier this evening, chanting, "Come on, Colombia."
Thank you. Let's go to Nikesh Regani, who is watching the cricket at Old Trafford.
Yes, the first T20 international here between England and India. India chasing 160 for victory, going along quite well at the moment. 56 for 1 in the 7th over. The one-man out, Shikhar Dhawan, bowled by David Willey in the first over of the innings for just 5. Since then, KL Rahul has really hit his straps, unbeaten on 33 from just 20. Rohit Sharma at the other end on 14. Now, we've still yet to see Virat Kohli, who's due in next, the likes of Suresh Raina and MS Dhoni. The required run rate less than 8 runs and over, so India's certainly the favourites. Their fans are in good spirits. The Dole drums are blaring out in the background as some fans just make their way to the back of a couple of the stands to watch the football, the second half on the big screens there. But some good action here out in the middle as well. India now 60 for 1, chasing 160 in the 7th over.
5 Live Sports Extra if you want to listen to the cricket. 85058 hashtag BBC World Cup to get in touch with us. Ian, headbutt in the face against England players are only yellow cards now apparently. Leslie, if we're going to condemn Neymar for theatrics, then we should be cross with Henderson for overselling the contact. No need to fall over clutching his face. Phil, the referee's losing control of the Colombian players. Every free kick they swarm around the ball and prevent play. If you can't control shirt pulling and off the ball physicality, it'll continue and worsen. I think Mark Klassenberger said on ITV this evening that the one to the chest would have been a yellow, but the fact that it then moved up into his head, that would mean that it would be a red card. Why are you smiling at me, Chris Waddle?
I think he did put his head into his chest, but I think it was just accident how he ends up on the chin. I do. But if they think it's a red, it should have been a red, then it should have been a red. But they don't get many decisions right, do they?
Samad said, how have we got to criticising the referee? I'd rather focus on the second half. If Belgium can believe in themselves after going 2-0 down, why can't we? I mean, the other honest truth about that first half, Chris, was that there was hardly anything for either goalkeeper to do. There wasn't a great deal of penalty box action, was there?
No, it was one chance each, basically, and that was it. And it's all in the middle of the belt. It's in there. You've got to say England have took the game to them a bit. It's more or less in the Colombian half, but they've defended well. They've gotten decent areas, England, not capitalised on it. Bad ball or sloppy pass or good defending. So they'll be very happy, Colombia, to take this right through the whole evening. If they can, they'll take their chances then.
Do you think they've tactically surprised England?
Yeah. For me, Barrios, who's been a surprise, he's become a sweeper in front of the 2 centre-halves. Job's in. He's got a. They've watched England and they've thought Sterling, whoever says get close to him when he goes deeper, go with him. When he comes high, obviously you drop into become a 3. They've packed the midfield and they're basically saying Ashley Young's not an effect. Ashley Young's got to be a bit more braver and go high and go and get at the full-back. Can he get across him? He's basically got 40 yards, 50 yards from the goal, and that's as high as he's got. Where Trippier's got down the right on numerous occasions. Great ball in for Kane, nearly got it. And that's what we want from Ashley Young.
Use the width, Terry. Use the width.
Yes, obviously use the width, but Ashley Young doesn't get forward anywhere near as much as Trippier. I said that. It's like it goes to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's got to be more aware that there's space in front of him. If he receives the ball, he's got to get into that space if he can. Cuadrado's done a good job on him. But if he gets the ball out to Ashley Young can advance further or receive the ball further up the pitch. He wouldn't have to try and get down both flanks, not just down the right-hand flank. But, big second half ahead of them now, that's for sure.
Pete says England exerting a lot of energy with no end product as of yet, and worried we'll run out of steam as the game goes on. Mark, as an England fan, you have to be pleased with the start, positive, just need that goal. Tyler, I would like it if we could put the ball in the net tonight and not look like we have never scored before. We are ready to go for the second half. Goalless at half-time, John Murray.
Yes, England have not won match in the knockout stages of a major tournament for 12 years. That's why Terry Butcher says it's a bigger half ahead of them. Colombia 0, England 0. We've got Terry Butcher, we've got Chris Waddle here in the commentary position, so 139 England caps worth of experience in the Spartak Moscow Stadium with us. The second half begins. England kick off in the all-red kit with the white numbers, white names, and Colombia, the yellow shirts, winning an immediate free kick, white shorts and white socks. No substitutions at half-time, so Colombia with Ospina, Arias, Mina, Davinson Sanchez and Mojica. In midfield, Barrios with Lerma and Sanchez either side of him, Carlos Sanchez, and then Juan Cuadrado, Juan Quintero and Radamel Falcao. And the England team, as it was to start the World Cup against Tunisia: Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones and Maguire, Trippier and Young, the wing-backs, Henderson with Lingard and Ali either side, and then Sterling and captain and leading scorer at this World Cup, Harry Kane. So Colombia 0, England 0. The incident in the Colombian penalty area involving Barrios' head and Jordan Henderson's chin, obviously creating a great deal of discussion at half-time as Stones heads the ball over the halfway line for England, and it comes back for Colombia, and it's worked out here to the left-hand side to Mojica, but Trippier was in front of him and the ball deflects all the way back towards Davinson Sanchez. So, Chris, you want to see a little bit more from Jordan Henderson, I sense?
I don't think he's got on the ball enough. He's got basically nobody around him, and he's screening obviously the centre forward Falcao, but he's not got on the ball enough, and not got into him enough, and he's not got the ball. He's not looked for it enough for me. But I think Colombia have just come here to spoil. They think, we'll spoil the game and we'll unsettle the game and knock anything out of the rhythm. And if it goes to extra time, it goes to extra time. After that, we'll even take it then.
Awful ball from Falcao. Just spooned it straight out of play as he tried to flick it to Cuadrado. We're sitting here, 5 Live conversation, just to the left of the halfway line. Quite low down, probably in the, 25th row back. So in the lower tier of the stadium, which is packed full of Colombians. They outnumber England supporters probably 4-1. Stones bringing the ball out from the back. Falcao is after him. So Stones rolls it across to Maguire. And now the other central defender, Kyle Walker, receives it. Trippier to Stones again. And then Trippier has to stretch and play it back to Walker, who allows it to run back towards the edge of the penalty area. Colombia 0, England 0, and the lines are open already for 606. 08085 909 693. Kelly Cates will be hosting in our studio down at Red Square. Chris Waddle and Terry Butcher will be involved. Chris Sutton as well in Rostov as England play the ball forward towards Sterling, but Davinson Sanchez stepped forward and the ball was eventually deflected out of play near the halfway line for a throw-in to Colombia. So 0-0, and Mojica will take this just in front of where Colombia's 68-year-old manager is standing in his dark blue suit and his rather stylish, comfortable shoes with their white soles. He has the look of a sort of Bill Nye type figure, doesn't he, Peckerman, as it's headed away near the edge of the area by Walker, and the free kick given England's way for a foul that Stones was going to take quickly. But there's certainly, one thing we have to watch here, and this is a real test, Chris, for referee Geiger, is that there is an awful lot going on in this game. And there's a bit of feeling here. The stakes are very high. There has been niggle, whatever happened with Raheem Sterling as he was leaving the pitch at the end of the first half. Stones and Sterling and Mina have had a couple of coming together. Young and Arias are another combination who've been at one another as Davinson Sanchez heads the ball into centre field to Cuadrado, and it comes back into central defence where Barrios is actually stationed in between the two central defenders. Now it's up to the right hand side. Quintero, that's an uncompromising challenge from Harry Maguire on the halfway line, which is not given as a free kick.
I've got to say, the start of the second half, scrappy, isn't it? It's nothing put together, and they're going to use all the tricks in the book, Colombia, there's no doubt about that. They know a few, so they're unsettling England when they get into a little bit of rhythm, and they're quite happy to foul, stop the game, and really get on the referee. And at the minute, it's really scrappy football.
Ball being played between the two penalty areas. Lingard to Stones. Now Harry Kane. Lingard finds a little bit of space. Lingard slips it square towards Dele Alli, who was challenged, went down quite theatrically there as Davinson Sanchez, his clubmate, put the challenge in. I don't think it was a free kick. Well, it wasn't, because it wasn't given. Here's Falcao. Falcao now for Cuadrado. Mojica is available, but Harry Kane is back there battling deep inside his own half, and Cuadrado keeps possession and plays it back into the centre circle. Mina. Now Lerma. Arias slips it infield towards Barrios. Barrios overhits the ball through. Falcao one way, the ball just ran through towards Jordan Pickford. So Colombia 0, England 0, and already this match, which has thrown up very few goal-scoring opportunities, has the feel of one that may well be heading beyond the 90 minutes. But we'll see. Here's Henderson. Stones makes a run forward. Henderson goes back to Walker, who has no other option but to go back to Pickford.
It's getting... England's coming and falling into the trap of Colombia. Colombia's quite happy the way the game's panning out at the minute. It suits them, but England's got to get back to moving the ball quicker, bit more options, move the ball from side to side a lot more.
A little bit of something between Sterling and Lerma just off the ball when they challenge for it together, but eventually bounces out of play for a throw-in to England down the far side that Dele Alli is going to take. Dele Alli actually will leave it for Ashley Young, who's arrived up the touchline. Ashley Young, oldest man in this England squad, this young England team. Young gets it back now to Lingard, back to Ashley Young again, winning his 37th cap tonight. Ashley Young, remember, he was one of the men who missed the penalty in the shootout in which England went out of Euro 2012. Now Harry Kane is challenged illegally by Arias, who has shown a yellow card for that challenge on Harry Kane.
Well, from where we are, we've just seen the replay there. Yeah, Harry Kane gets it first and he barges him in the back, knocks him to the floor, so the referee got that right.
Arias, much smaller man, leapt for it with his elbow into the back, into the small of Harry Kane's back. So it's a first chance for England to swing a free kick into the Colombian penalty area in this second half. Ashley Young just getting his socks sorted out, pulling them up over his knees, and Harry Kane taking up a position right at the back post. Harry Maguire is there as well. Dele Alli too. Referee gives the signal. Played in by Young. Harry Maguire close to getting his head to it, but Davinson Sanchez, well defended again by the Tottenham central defender, just got there to glance it through for a corner.
Yeah, great ball in. And Sanchez got a brilliant header that. He just spotted the danger just in time as well. Harry Maguire is just about to head it. Corner, let's see what we've got here. More.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, it's every corner.
This is absolutely ridiculous. But particularly when you consider that we now have the possibility of the video assistant referee. 4 England players are now almost in formation. Kane, Maguire, Stones and Henderson are they going to do the conga, do you think? It's a corner. Trippier takes it towards the back post. It's headed back across. There are appeals. There are appeals. Has that been given as a penalty?
And a yellow.
Yes, it is. It's a penalty to England. I think it's Harry Kane who ended up on the ground in amongst a crowd of players. A yellow card has been shown and England have been awarded a penalty. Although there's still some anger here. The Colombian players are surrounding referee Geiger. But Harry Kane was right in front of the referee.
Look at that, Sanchez.
Carlos Sanchez hauled him on. It was almost under the referee's nose. He could not miss it. And the penalty's been given. VAR has checked it. The check is over. Still, the players are protesting. I mean, I don't know what they're protesting about. Carlos Sanchez has been yellow carded. And it is going to be a penalty to England. Harry Kane will have a chance. He's got the ball in his hands. He will have a chance here to score his third penalty of this World Cup and to score his sixth goal. And still, the referee is having to face protests from Radamel Falcao. Ospina, the goalkeeper, is there. And also the man who conceded the penalty, Carlos Sanchez. This all happened at Terry Butcher's end of the ground. What do you see, Terry?
Well, I saw something. Well, I didn't see something. I saw a lot. I think it was it Sanchez, or I'm not too sure it was marking Harry Kane. Whoever's marking Harry Kane,
Sanchez,
has picked him up at the back, and he was having a wheelbarrow race. You know, we have at the parents' sports meetings. We have a wheelbarrow race with Harry Kane. Dumped him on the floor, right in front of the referee. The referee was watching somewhere else, and then saw this happen on its own in a space, and it's an obvious penalty. No wonder there's a quick VAR check. It was very quick. It's a penalty. And what the Colombians are doing, they're over the penalty spot. One or two of them are just roughing up the penalty spot with their studs. I mean, this is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. That is awful. And now they can't accept the fact that someone has manhandled England's captain on the floor. It's a penalty. Get away. Referee, come on, go and book them.
They're also trying to get at Harry Kane as well, who was trying to compose himself. And the Colombian players, several of them, went to Harry Kane, who just wandered away.
He's booked Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Henderson's been booked.
He's just booked him, look. No.
Well, we're seeing pictures of...
He's not strong enough, the referee.
We're seeing pictures of Jordan Henderson, who... There was one of the Colombian players was buzzing around behind him, and Jordan Henderson just moved his head back
into it,
and that's why he's been yellow carded.
Yeah, but the referee got no control over the game, and it's only going to get worse.
No, the referee needed there to take a grip, because this is ridiculous. For it to take this long to calm all of that down and get the penalty taken, it's ludicrous, really. Yeah. And we're still seeing David Ospina not getting back into position. But here we are then. It's 0-0. England have a penalty, and Harry Kane is going to take it, having already scored two brilliant penalties against Panama, which he took right-footed, high to the goalkeeper's right. They were struck so well, they were unstoppable. Will he go the same way again? He told me he's been practising and practising and practising penalties. So here he is to give England the lead in the last 16. He has gone down the middle and he's scored! It's 1-0 to England, and it's captain Harry Kane with his sixth goal at this World Cup, and that matches Gary Lineker's total at Mexico 86. But it also gives England a valuable and crucial lead. They are ahead in this round of 16 tie, 1-0 against Colombia.
Well, I don't think the referee's having a very good game, but he got that decision right. It was a pen, and Harry Kane goes down the middle. Ospina's obviously saw him too, to the goalie's right. He's dived early and he's just placed it straight down the middle. Just a nice pace on it as well. He didn't blast it, safe foot. Goalkeeper's gone to the ground, and England deserve it. They've been a better side. It's been a scrappy match, but the referee, for me, is spoiling the game.
Still the Colombians are talking to the referee. Still they're on at him. And now finally the match gets underway again. Terry, just give us another thought on what just happened there.
Well, obviously we talked about the penalty. Harry Kane was absolutely a picture of concentration. He just looked at the ball, then he just glanced up at the way that Ospina was, and he just picked his spot.
There's now a bit of bother here in the centre circle. John Stones, Radamel Falcao has gone down, clutching his face. The two of them tangled as the ball went over the top of them, and Falcao is down still. He looked at John Stones. The two of them came together challenging for the ball, and Stones sort of pulled his foot out from where it was and catches the side of Falcao's head. We can see that on the replay here.
Yeah, Falcao had a hold of his leg and he wouldn't let him go, so he kicks it out, throws it out, but it catches him on the head, but he's up.
More from Terry Butcher in a moment. Free kick taken quickly. Quintero hits a shot. It rattles across the edge of the England penalty area. Davinson Sanchez is being watched by Harry Maguire. He's been able to work it back into the penalty area, but Henderson clears away downfield, where it will be kept in and played back into central defence to Barrios, and now forward towards Carlos Sanchez, who was the Colombian player booked in the conceding of the England penalty. Sterling now gets the ball down, plays it just behind Lingard, and so Carlos Sanchez can readjust and play it out here to the left-hand side to Mojica. Chris?
Yeah, I just think England's got to keep the mains on the game. Don't get involved with the diving, the dramatics of all the Colombians here, the niggling you, the frustrating you. Don't buy it. Play your football and you'll win this game quite comfortably. You don't want to get involved, and they're going to bring on Baka.
Let's just bring in Terry again from down at pitch level. Terry Butcher.
Yeah, it was just, Harry Kane picked his spot. He was unbelievable. Just really focused on what he had to do. It was always going to end up in the back of the net. I mean, the whole of the England bench up there, virtually on the edge of the pitch, to celebrate as well. That's what you want to see.
He's going to bring off Jose Peckerman, one of his three central midfielders. Lerma, I can see his red number 16 is on the board already. So in this position, he has to do that. 1-0 down, and we're already into the last half hour of this match. England leading 1-0 and on course now for a quarter-final meeting with Sweden, but it is very finely balanced, and there's an awful long way to go and an awful lot in this match. Eyes needed everywhere. Just as well we've got Terry down at pitch level, Chris. He'll see everything down there. Baka waiting to come onto the field. England just looking to take the sting out of it here. In possession. Played back to John Stones. Dele Alli makes himself available. Dele Alli now over the halfway line. Ali rolls the ball forward down the left-hand side for Lingard, but Mina is able to come across and steer it out of play. And I'm told there were 3 minutes and 31 seconds between the awarding and the taking of the England penalty. And the change is now going to be made. And as I say, it's Lerma coming off and Carlos Baka is coming onto the field for Colombia. They're number 7, winning his 48th cap. The Villarreal man, as he is currently. So England leading 1-0. Harry Kane continuing his record of scoring in every match in which he started as the England captain. 8 of them it is now. That is 12 goals in those 8 matches in which he started. And also, he has just scored in a 6th consecutive England game, and that's not been done since 1939, when Tommy Lawton scored in 6 in a row. The records just keep falling to the World Cup's leading scorer, stretching his lead with 6 goals now. 1-0 England lead. BBC 5 Live with England at the World Cup. You can listen as well via the BBC Sport app. 6:06 on the way. The lines are open. 08 085 909 693. Get in touch at BBC 606, at 5 Live Sport. Text 85058. England with a free kick out on the left-hand side. Second goal now would make it look quite rosy. Young fires it in deep towards Maguire at the back post, who heads it across, but the shot from Kane is blocked. Oh, then Kane gets a touch. He went down in the box. It's curled into the back post, and it's headed across the face of goal and over the top by Dele Alli. And the Colombians now are racing towards referee Geiger again. Falcao he's been shown a yellow card. Yerry Mina is waving his arms at the referee, and the referee, the Colombians, it would appear, sense that Mark Geiger, the referee, can be got at here, and Falcao is furious about something that's happened in there.
I don't know what happened in there. Don't say what's happened, but that wasn't a pen in Harry Maguire's. Look, he didn't get a yellow because he's died there. It's when the ball came in from Trippier. Here we go. They're saying he's offside, Sterling, but he didn't head it.
And Dele Alli with the header from the angle that was over. He was stretching for it, he was falling, and he headed it over the top. The attendance, by the way, 44,190. 5 Live. The cricket, the 2020 International is over on 5 Live Sports Extra. India are chasing 160 to win it back in the UK at Old Trafford. Colombia 0, England 1. And we have we've played 63, nearly 64 minutes.
Probably played about 55.
As much as that. Stones with the ball at the back. Stones is caught there by Carlos Bacca. The ball had gone, and it's a yellow card for Bacca, who's just come onto the field. And Bacca, as John Stones gets up, Bacca comes across and pulls the arm of John Stones. It's just late, just a little bit naughty. India, by the way, 126 for 1 after 12 overs, needing, as I say, 160 to win. So that's a yellow card for Collins. He's got a yellow card even before I'd written his name on the team sheet. 1-0 to England. Ball bouncing into the penalty area. Mina had to head it away under pressure from Raheem Sterling, and then it's played out. Oh, and then down goes Arias when he was challenged by Dele Alli, and this, I don't think it's being refereed well, but this is becoming a very difficult game to referee.
Well, you feel sorry for the ref, but I've got to say, the way I'm not saying it's England, definitely not, but Colombia, the way their players are reacting, they're a disgrace. And I'm sure something will happen after this game, regardless of the result.
Yeah. Colombia 0, England 1. 25 minutes to play. England are winning. They're 25 minutes away from a place in the quarterfinals of the World Cup against Sweden. England, who've not won a match in the knockout stages of a tournament since 2006. But they're going to have to, they're almost literally going to have to battle for this. The Colombian supporters, heavily outnumbering the England fans, are rallying themselves and raising themselves as Dele Alli is fouled on the halfway line, this time by Barrios, who is on a yellow card. Currently 5 Colombians have been yellow carded: Barrios, Arias, Carlos Sanchez, Falcao and Bacca. Jordan Henderson is the one England player to have received a yellow card. Free kick, 25 minutes to go.
Just got to keep the calm, England, keep playing the football, don't get involved.
I'm sure that Gareth Southgate will have spoken about this scenario.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible that in a World Cup you will end up facing this sort of challenge. Maguire, who certainly dived in the Colombian penalty area and was fortunate not to be yellow carded, swings the pass out towards the right hand side to Trippier, where it was nodded out of play by Mojica. Trippier to take the throw in. Harry Kane, who's just scored his 19th goal for England in his 27th appearance. Trippier plays the ball in towards the edge of the box. Quintero can't really get into the game in the second half. Quintero plays it up towards Bacca, and now Colombia look to break. Quintero with the outside of his left boot couldn't find the pass down the right hand side to Cuadrado. In fact, it was cut out by Ashley Young, and Ashley Young has set off on a counter-attack. He has Raheem Sterling available. Sterling, lovely piece of skill from Sterling to set in Young, who crosses it, but there's no one there, and actually Young has gone down. Whether he was caught late after the ball had gone, I'm not sure.
I don't think Colombia will kick it out.
Ball played up towards Falcao, and the ball bounces out of play for a throw-in near the halfway line. Ashley Young is still down way over there in the far corner, and now Jose Peckerman is much more animated. He's changed his system. He's taken off one of the holding midfielders. The referee has gone across to have a look at Ashley Young. It was Arias who put the challenge in on him. Young crossed, and really there's not a great deal in that. I mean, he may have fallen awkwardly, I don't know, but he stayed down. And so we've got a stoppage in play, so let's get another thought from Terry Butcher, who's down at pitch level behind the goal.
Well, I think England just got to keep their cool, as Chris says. It's anti-football from Colombia. I mean, Quintero's on the ball, occasionally it's sporadic. England winning the ball back, but it's just niggly stuff. England have just got to keep their discipline, keep their cool, and I think they'll get another goal, because they've lost all discipline of Colombia. England can't afford to do that.
Terry, you must have played against this sort of approach over the years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't rise to it. Honestly, you want to do something, you want to throw something or whatever, but you can't now, especially with so many cameras about here and the referee. You don't know what this referee's going to do at all. So, yeah, I played in that. I thought those days were gone, but you obviously don't want to see that back in football, but unfortunately it is. For a team that's got less quality than England, less ability than England, but they're resorting to these tactics.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying that Colombia won the Fair Play Award in Brazil at the World Cup 4 years ago when they entertained us with James Rodriguez to the fore. He can't play tonight, he's injured. 1-0 England lead. Now Jesse Lingard is yellow carded for... There wasn't much more than a little tap with his right boot on the back of Carlos Sanchez's leg, but that's a yellow card now for Jesse Lingard. So that is 7 yellow cards in the match.
Yeah, it's hard for the referee, don't get us wrong, but he hasn't got to get carried away himself, the referee. He's got to try and stamp his authority on this game, which he hasn't got at the minute. Colombia
0, England 1. Talk to us about this match. 08 085 909 693. Kelly Cates hosting 606. We'll bring you all of the interviews as well from the tunnel during the course of the programme. You'll hear all that on the podcast as well in the morning. The World Cup Daily, the 5 Live World Cup Daily podcast. The 2020 International is over on 5 Live Sports Extra. The Wimbledon coverage as well continues on the BBC Sport website and app. And more blanket coverage from Wimbledon tomorrow. But the World Cup here is alive in front of our eyes with England 1-0 up. Lingard playing it back towards Maguire. Maguire, the touch to Stones, who rolls it out square to his right to Kyle Walker. Now Falcao does have that support from Bacca, so Colombia playing with 2 men up front.
3 at the back, 1 still screening, 2 wing backs, and they're pushing on. They realise the game's going away from them. They've got to try and push on here.
20 minutes to play. Ashley Young on the far side does well to work the ball down the left wing towards Dele Alli. Dele Alli cuts back against Arias and then sees Young there in support. Young drops his shoulder, plays it infield towards Sterling. Now back towards Henderson, middle of the Colombian half. Henderson, his pass towards Trippier. Trippier, just caught by Mojica. That's not given as a free kick. Kyle Walker was trying to referee the game himself there, and the referee ignored England's claims for a free kick. I thought Trippier was caught, I must say.
Really close though, wasn't it? I think there was not a lot in it.
Pickford back in possession, his long pass. Trippier jumps against Mojica and the ball evades both of them, out of play for a throw-in to Colombia. Barrios says, come on, give it to me, I want it on my chest, and he does. Barrios then lifts the ball forward towards Bacca. Maguire's got to be careful, stands up strong. Bacca bounces into Maguire, goes down. Howls from the crowd, the Colombian fans, for a free kick. Bacca as well appeals, hands apart. Referee Geiger says no. Stones passing the ball away from his own penalty area. Maguire now Young with a long pass downfield for Sterling to chase. Sterling has just nudged Arias off the ball. Free kick.
Arias used a bit of experience there, didn't he? He wasn't going to get it, and he ran into Sterling really and falls to the ground. Referee buys it.
1-0 England lead. Harry Kane's penalty in the 58th minute. Harry Kane, who is on the halfway line watching Walker cross into Colombian territory and then turn tail and head back into his own half and giving it to Trippier. Harry Kane, who now has 14 goals in his last 10 England appearances, and as I say, has matched the total that Gary Lineker reached in 86. Ball played through to Lingard. Lingard looking to chip it across, but Davinson Sanchez slid across, went to ground and blocked it behind for a corner.
Good football by England, one very patient, nice pace about it, crisp passing, a lot of good movement off the ball. Lingard gets in the... It's a great tackle again. The 2 centre-halves have done a decent job for Colombia tonight.
They have the young player of Yerry Mina, who's only 23 years old. Davinson Sanchez, 22 last month. Corner then to England from the left. They lead by 1-0. Time must have slowed for Gareth Southgate down there. Young takes it. Maguire with a header. Ospina just watches it land on the roof of his net. He was stretching high, so high that his gloves were actually over the top of the bar, and England were wondering whether it might have caught his gloves before it dropped onto the roof of the net. But the referee said no. Actually, he might have had a case just watching it again. Colombia 0, England 1. So Harry Maguire here in Russia has become only the second England player to have scored 6 goals at a World Cup finals tournament. And he's got power to add if England progress. Here is Harry Kane. Kane away from Carlos Sanchez. 3 Colombians around him. And Cuadrado comes in with a heavy challenge, and Kane goes down, and it's a free kick to England in a good position left of centre.
Well, I know, but he talks about Colombia being a good football team and do this and do that. They've been animals tonight. They've been shocking. They're a disgrace to the game.
Really? You'd say it'd be as strong as that?
I think they've been a disgrace. This is a World Cup. It's an exhibition. People want to watch good football. They just come out with a mentality of spoil the game, foul, push the referee to the limit. You don't want to see it. I hope they get a hefty fine.
Free kick to England. Young and Trippier are together. Trippier runs away. England have posed problems with this Ashley Young free kick that is whipped in. England have already won one penalty for wrestling in the penalty area. Young plays it into the back post. Kane goes for it, and actually the flag was up. He went for it with a kung fu style kick, Harry Kane, but couldn't make contact, and even if he had, as I say, the flag was up. So Colombia 0, England 1. Terry Butcher, you heard what Chris Waddle had to say there. Are you feeling similarly?
Yep, absolutely. Chris 100% spot on. But I tell you what, on that occasion, because the referee's given the penalty for the free kick, they did not know what to do, Colombia, whether to stick or twist, and in the end they let England's runners through. The ball wasn't quite right, and they get away with it, Colombia. But they don't know what to do now. All their discipline is gone, Colombia.
Falcao, though, as Colombia get a fortunate break of the ball in centre field. Falcao gives it to Cuadrado, a couple of step overs, and then Cuadrado passes it straight to Dele Alli on the edge of the England penalty area. That's very interesting, what Terry says there, and it's at his end of the field now where England are attacking, that there could be possibilities for England from set pieces, because Colombia are wary of the fact that they've already conceded a penalty for the holding of Harry Kane. Here's Mojica on the left-hand side, couldn't get past Trippier. Tried it again, couldn't get past Trippier. Now Barrios rolls a pass out to the right-hand side to Arias. Quintero thought about going with the ball to the edge of the box, thought twice. Arias uses Cuadrado on the right-hand side. Cuadrado's aerial ball in is headed away by Walker, headed further away by Lingard, but back to the yellow shirts of Colombia. Davinson Sanchez shapes his pass towards Quintero again, on his left foot. Quintero's ball in towards Baca. Baca got a touch to that, but it bounced down and was swept away by the left foot of Kieran Trippier.
England's just come off the pace slightly the last couple of minutes, John. That's why Colombia's putting some passes together. They've not done this whole game, and England's just dropped off, and I don't like to see that. You like the tempo to keep going a little bit, and maybe a couple of players are feeling the pace.
We're into the last 15 minutes. Gareth Southgate is yet to make a substitution. 15 minutes. England are away from a place in the quarter-finals. Ball into the penalty area. Baca lifts it across, headed away, and then it's cleared. Crucially, a little touch by Dele Alli on the edge of the area. Ashley Young gets a touch as well to play it away to Sterling. Sterling now running. Sterling with England coming forward. It's 3 against 2. Sterling still going. Tries to find Lingard. Lingard into the box. Oh, he's challenged. Davinson Sanchez comes in with a challenge. Referee says no penalty. Must have taken the ball.
Why would Lingard go down? He's just about to pull the trigger, wasn't he? So why would he go down? Well, if he's dived, he deserves a yellow. But from where we're sitting, which is quite a way away from the incident, Terry will have a proper view of it. Terry, what did you think?
I thought he's caught in there. Lingard was about to pull the trigger, and the sliding leg comes alongside Lingard, takes him down. And for me, that's a penalty. It's a stick-on penalty.
Colombia crossing from the left, but it's headed away on the edge of the box by John Stones. Terry will have a great view of that. We've not seen it again on the replay yet, as Lingard plays it to Henderson. Henderson's ball across, and now Colombia are having to commit men downfield, and gaps are opening for England.
England's got to use the ball well. That's the key now. Got that composure, right pass, right selection.
It's 1-0 to England. Harry Kane's penalty making the difference, but a niggly, awful game. Ball played in towards the edge of the box to Falcao. Falcao turning onto his left foot. Falcao has to play it back out of the penalty area to Mojica. Mojica has Kyle Walker in front of him, so has to turn. Played back to Carlos Sanchez. Now the dangerous Quintero. Quintero's ball to the edge of the box. Baca challenged and fouling Dele Alli. Free kick to England, and I think we'll see the second Colombian change. Still no immediate sign of England making their first substitution, and it's going to be midfielder Mateus Uribe, who is coming on into the midfield for Carlos Sanchez, who is one of the Colombians who is on a yellow card. Whether that's a factor or not, I don't know, but Uribe, who is a box-to-box midfielder who plays in Mexico for Club America, been in excellent form this year. He is on the number 15. And we have just over 11 minutes to play. It's going to be tense. Unless England can come up with a second goal. Kane heads it forward towards the edge of the box. That's nodded away by big Mina. Falcao with a touch on the halfway line. And then Quintero to the right-hand side to Cuadrado. England are going to make a change. It's Eric Dyer, I see, being prepared down to our right. Falcao stretches for it, can't get to it. John Stones steps forward and passes the ball to Harry Kane. And Kane has a look over his shoulder. And Kane tracks the ball away from Barrios and then is bundled over. And it's a free kick to England on the halfway line. Barrios, who has been yellow carded.
He'd probably take Dele Alli off, who's just come out of injury, you would think, and Dyer can sit alongside Henderson just to keep just basically kill the game off and then use it well on the counter-attack. Here's the change. First change for England, quite right, Chris. Dele Alli, who, believe it or not, he's actually right away over on the far side of the field. Can you believe that? What a shock. So it's not only the Colombians who know one or two tricks. Yeah, there you go. And Dele Alli, in no hurry, he's doing one of those slow runs off the field. Let's bring Terry Butcher in, because this substitution might take some time, because Dele Alli's going across to shake hands with Jordan Henderson. Terry, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we were just thinking that myself, and because Jordan Henderson just outnumbered in the middle of the park. England Harry Kane headed the ball and got headed back over the top of Henderson, and there was the midfield player for Colombia to pick it up. So just plugging that midfield, two midfield players in there now, just secure it a little bit. It's not sitting back, it's just making sure that we don't get overrun in that in the middle of the park. But good play by Gareth Southgate, I think. Good substitution.
Gareth Southgate puts his arm around Dele Alli, gives him a pat on the back, and Eric Dyer comes on to play alongside Jordan Henderson in there for the remainder of this game. There are 10 minutes to play. England are winning 1-0. This is BBC Radio 5 live with England at the World Cup, and we are 10 minutes away or so, plus added time, from seeing England take their place in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Oh, but Kyle Walker's caught in possession on the halfway line by Bacca. Bacca's off and running. He's playing it good to Cuadrado. Cuadrado's shot is over. He's blazed it over, and that is a big escape for England after Kyle Walker's mistake.
Well, he just sometimes get caught in possession. He dawdled on the ball, and you can't at this level. Obviously, he's tried to play it back to John Stones. Got a little bit lack of concentration. Too sloppy. And Cuadrado, a good chance. He's got at least at the target. He's blazed it high and wide.
Colombia, Cuadrado should have made England pay for that mistake.
Should have.
That's a bad miss by Colombia in every sense. So it's still 1-0 to England. And we are in the 82nd minute. Hang on to your hats, everyone. If you're in the car, this will be a tense journey. Sweaty hands on the driving wheel, I suspect. Here's Maguire. Maguire playing the ball back to Pickford. Takes a touch onto his right foot. Pickford. Long ball downfield towards Lingard. Kane plays it through to Lingard. Lingard takes it on into the penalty area, but took a poor touch, actually. And the ball bounced behind, and it's been given as a free kick, actually, Colombia's way.
It was a bit of a bad touch, and Scott back there, and Lingard, did you say, it's a bad touch. He cuts inside and he's got his eyes. He's just ran into him, really, and Barrios has made a meal of it, which you'd expect. But he gets the free kick.
Yeah. 1-0 to England. Davinson Sanchez is being put under pressure by Lingard. He's trying to hold him off. England are pressing well here. Eric Dyer with a challenge on Uribe. Harry Kane now takes it up, tries to take it on through the middle, was fouled by Falcao, and it's a free kick. Good position for England, 8 or 9 yards forward of the centre circle. Kane, who has been very closely patrolled this evening, he's taken a few bangs. Harry Kane, England need him fit if they're going to make further progress at this World Cup. But he's on his feet, the England captain, goal scorer again tonight. Scored in 6 consecutive England appearances. That's not been done since 1939. And he takes his position, Harry Kane, tall and imposing, blonde hair swept back on the edge of the box. Trippier plays it in, looking for Maguire. Maguire heads it across the face of goal, and it drops beyond the far post.
Just been a little bit too high tonight, the crosses for him. He's really been reaching for a lot. He just can't get it back across the goal, or can't head it down.
And Colombia take a goal kick out to Barrios on the edge of the penalty area. Barrios to Mina, and then Cuadrado finds Uribe, and Uribe over the halfway line to Bacca, and Bacca now cuts in field and plays it into the congested area. The ball, it looked as though it struck the almost stones there as it was played forward, but no free kick, and Colombia have the ball again inside their own half.
Yeah, they're grasping at straws. They're looking for any little advantage, aren't they?
84 minutes played. Barrios here to Uribe. Now Mojica up against Trippier. Mojica tries to go around the outside, and Trippier puts in the challenge. Blocked out of play by Trippier for a throw-in. It's going to be a long 6 minutes plus added time this.
It'll be interesting to see how stoppage you put on.
Well, it's got to be at least 5. It's got to be 6, 7, 8 minutes. Throw-in, that was a foul throw, surely. Falcao plays it back to throw-in taker Mojica. Then it's swung in by Quintero, headed away by Walker. Comes out for Colombia. Arias. Cuadrado has a look up. Here's the delivery from Cuadrado. It's headed by Davinson Sanchez right across the penalty area, and Mojica does very well to keep it in on the slide, actually. Trippier's with him, goes for the byline, gets the cross over to the back post. Falcao stretching over the top of Henderson, could do nothing other than head it wide of the far post.
I thought it was a foul anyway. The referee didn't give it. I think he waited to see where the ball ended up, which obviously was behind the goal.
And actually Ashley Young and Harry Maguire are actually pulling Jordan Henderson away from the scene of this, just in case it should flare up again, and Henderson is on a yellow card. Down to pitch side again, Terry Butcher.
Well, that ball was out when it went back out to the touchline. I can see virtually right along the line. The linesman was hopeless. That ball was out. There should have been an England throw on that left-hand side.
Thanks, Terry. Gareth Southgate just having a word with Kieran Trippier. 85 minutes played, almost 86. England minutes away from the quarter-finals of the World Cup for the first time since 2006. Sweden will be their opponents there. Ooh, a stretch for Colombia at the back, and they've just been able to clear it away. Mojica to Davinson Sanchez, and now Quintero up towards Falcao. Harry Maguire coolly passes it into Eric Dyer, and Jamie Vardy, I see just down to my right, is going to be the next England man to come onto the field. Falcao. Colombia have to raise themselves here. They're going out of the World Cup unless they can score a goal. Ball drilled across field by Cuadrado, but straight onto the head of Harry Kane.
I've put Vardy up with Sterling, and because they're pushing on, there's gaps, and Vardy can use his pace. You don't have to play any little ball, just play one over the top.
Yeah, good thinking that, isn't it? Falcao gets the ball back on his right foot, shoots low, straight at Pickford, who's able to kill it with his gloves and then drop onto it. The shot from 22, 23 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they've improved slightly since they made the subs, Colombia, but they don't deserve anything the way they've conducted themselves tonight. They've been an absolute disgrace.
This is for their niggly fouls, for their gamesmanship, but it cost them. They ended up conceding the penalty for Carlos Sanchez's wrestling of Harry Kane inside the penalty area. And VAR, video assistant referee, confirmed it. And we're going to see Vardy come on, but also as well for Colombia, Luis Muriel, who there was a thought that he might play. Muriel in the absence of James Rodriguez. So it's, as you said, Chris, Raheem Sterling is the England player who will be replaced by Jamie Vardy, his 25th cap tonight, Jamie Vardy. And it's Quintero who's off for Colombia. Well, his influence in the second half has been limited, Quintero.
Yeah, he kept, I don't know if he's got something wrong with his leg. He kept stretching off it. I don't know if he got cramped early in the second half or what, but he just didn't have any movement.
Raheem Sterling gets a hug from Gareth Southgate and all of the England staff in their grey tops down to our right. And we've played 88 minutes, less than 2 minutes to play, and then it's a matter of how many minutes have been added on. But be brace yourselves, because it'll be at least 5, 6, possibly 7. We've had long delays. Ball hooked forward for Colombia. Walker with a header. Then it falls to Maguire, who's able to volley it towards Harry Kane. Kane is tripped, and that is disputed by Uribe.
It was a foul, though. I don't know what they're arguing about. Davison Sanchez was the first foul, and then as Harry Kane takes the ball away, it pulls him down, so it's a foul.
England in no hurry to take it. Fighting fire with fire here. Walker dummies outrageously to take it, but then doesn't. England, in fact, Walker leaves it to Trippier. That'll eat up a few more seconds. We're in the 90th minute now. 1-0 England lead. BBC 5 Live, 6:06 to follow. Get your calls in to talk about this. England against Sweden would be the scenario, not counting any chickens. 08085 909 693 to talk. Kelly Cates will be hosting from Red Square. Terry Butcher and Chris Sutton and Chris Waddle all involved. Get in touch at 5 Live Sport, at BBC 606. Throw in for Colombia.
Just waiting for that board to go out with the minutes. I don't think the board's big enough.
I think there's space.
There could be 3 numbers coming up.
3 figures, do you think? Could be here all night.
I think it's 5 by the looks of it, John.
5, that's generous to England. Here come Colombia, though. The ball swung in by Mojica, and it's over everyone inside the England penalty area and will bounce out of play into the hoardings. And here now we see the 4th official, the New Zealander, Matt Conga, show everyone only 5 minutes of added time. And when you consider, as producer Gary handed the note, I think it was 3.5 minutes between the penalty, the England penalty, being awarded and it being taken. We've had all of the other various stoppages. We've had all of the yellow cards. 5 minutes certainly doesn't add on all of the time. As then there's another foul England's way. And Jordan Henderson is caught again. He's had to spill a bit of blood tonight, Jordan Henderson. And is still sitting on the pitch. The Colombian fans inside the stadium are enraged. In fact, someone's thrown a plastic cup of drink down from the stands. Doesn't reach the pitch, but there's frustration there. But, you know, they have lived by the sword, so to speak, and they're dying by the sword.
Yeah, well, we don't like teams to progress like this. It's part of the tournament, and if you're going to lose, yes, you don't like losing, nobody does, but you can't conduct yourself the way they've done that tonight.
We have already had a minute of the 5 to be played after a bad-tempered, niggly, scrappy football match. England are very close now to a place in the quarter-finals against Sweden, which will be in Samara on Saturday afternoon. England playing it up to the edge of the penalty area. Davison Sanchez heads it down. Harry Kane is there. Kane, shoulder to shoulder with Arias. Arias gets a touch to it. In fact, it's a free kick given against Harry Kane. And then Harry Kane says the free kick's been taken in the wrong place. I was worrying for a moment there that the referee was going to yellow card him. Then Colombia have stolen 5 or 6 yards, more than that, probably 10 yards. They will take it though. Ospina will take it. He hits it long downfield for Colombia. The header is won for England by John Stones. It comes out a pinging shot. What a save by Jordan Pickford. What an effort that was by Uribe from 30 yards plus, and Pickford leaping to his left, got his fingertips to it and preserves England's lead by one hand.
I don't know if it was going in, John, but he didn't know that.
Corner to Colombia. This is their first corner of the match. Ospina is coming up. We're in the 3rd minute of added time. So many late goals at this World Cup. England have to defend this set piece. Here's the delivery, which is headed down by Mina and in! Mina has scored and he's equalised. And it's 1-1. In the 3rd minute of added time, Colombia have levelled it, and we're heading to extra time. 1-1. What a crushing blow for England. That quarter-final place has been snatched away for the time being, at least.
I can't believe it. They've done the jobs. They've been good tonight, England. Well disciplined. Could have played better now, but they weren't allowed by a horrible Colombian side. But set piece, and it basically gets above Stones. Stones was marking him. He gets above Maguire, and he heads it down, spins up the he can't. Trippier on the lane, can't hit it off the lane. Pickford can't reach it. Oh, wow. What a bad goal to give away.
Set piece. England knew the threat. It's all too obvious. Yerry Mina of Barcelona, who's already headed 2 goals from free kicks or set pieces at this World Cup, heads in a third.
You put 2 on him. You know he's the main man who scores.
They're still celebrating.
I know he's still in the crowd somewhere. I think he was sitting down.
They're still celebrating.
I think he was sat in one of the seats, wasn't he? But you know he's the man, so why didn't you put 2 on him? 2 big lads, get on Dyer. You've got enough hate in the team. Make sure he does not head it.
Their first corner.
Oh.
They scored from their first corner of the match.
Lack of concentration, switched off.
And they're still not back over the halfway line to start the match again.
I think we'll go straight to the airport when this finishes. And we're not flying till Thursday.
So 1-1. Colombia 1, England 1. And we surely will have extra time. England pump it forward. And the ball bounces out of play next to the corner flag.
You know what, John, as well, England's had some great moments in the second half where could have killed the game off. You know, Lingard's sloppy pass, so-and-so sloppy pass. They've had great chances to kill this game off.
The ball with England on the right. Trippier says there was a handball there. It's been cleared away downfield. I must say, in extra time here, who knows what's going to happen on the disciplinary front?
Anything.
Whether we see goals, red cards.
Don't switch your radio off. Anything's going to happen here.
This could be a real thriller, and the atmosphere is brilliant. I mean, all of those Colombian fans, I think they're just about giving it up. But Mina scores in the 3rd minute of added time, and it's 1-1. And we've already now had 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes of added time.
They had 5 minutes of celebrations.
Kane chasing a ball down into the dead ball position. It's headed away by Uribe, comes out to Dyer. Dyer lifts it over the top. I thought that for a moment there was a handball just outside the penalty area, but it's not. Barrios. Then Maguire chests it down. Maguire's going to carry the ball forward, tries to slip it through, but it's sliced away by Arias. Falcao gets a touch against Ashley Young. Ashley Young then falls into the path of Falcao. No free kick given because Colombia have the advantage with Cuadrado. Then Young puts in the challenge, and there's no free kick. He wasn't able to bring it back, the referee, and Young just hits it away downfield. 6 minutes of added time, that's it. The final whistle goes, and it is 1-1, and we will have extra time. And Yerry Mina's header in the 3rd minute, the 93rd minute, has salvaged it for the time being at least, after Harry Kane with the penalty gave England the lead, and now England have got to dig deep again. So Colombia 1, England 1. And here's Mark Chapman, who's in the stadium with us.
They've done so well, haven't they, Chris, England, to keep their calm all the way through that second half. And even after they conceded the goal, the first thing Gareth Southgate did was get out in his technical area and just tell them all to continue to keep calm, which for a young team at a World Cup, in the face of how they've been provoked, I would imagine is quite difficult.
Very difficult, because it's not in our nature to play like Colombia. I've got to say they've been disgraceful. I hope they get a hefty fine, whatever happens to them in this game. They've been absolutely terrible. I feel sorry for the referee. In a real world, he should have been waving red cards, maybe 3 or 4. Every decision's been contested by them. You can't do that, surround the referee. England's played some nice football tonight. They've had chances to kill it off in that second half on the break, and they haven't. They've been wasteful to where they've been in good positions to finish the game off. As for that little bit of inexperience, you know the main man, he's 6'5". He saw his last game, he scored Senegal, similar header, similar goal. Put 2 on him, put your 2 big lads on him, make sure he does not hit it. The rest will take care of itself. Nobody's got near him. Trippier obviously on the post, can he get near it, goes in. Now what's going to happen is these are fired up, the crowd's fired up. England's got to keep the discipline. They look a little bit tired, both teams are really, but anything can happen now. And England basically, if they go out, they threw it away.
But all the substitutions that Colombia made, Terry, were attacking substitutions, so that you would imagine it'd be difficult for them to go back to playing how they were playing before they had to chase the game.
Yeah, I think they'll keep the same. They had the last 10, 12 minutes. They were at their best. That was their best ever spell, and they obviously got the goal from that. But they had to throw caution to the wind, bring on attack-minded players. They've got them on the park now, and Chris is exactly right. We've been done by a sucker punch then. He scored 2 goals in a row before this. He scored 3 in a row now, and the ball's like a magnet to his head, and he just heads it. Yeah. 2 men on him. It's what England should have done. In the end, they've given themselves a problem. But as Gareth says, just keep on playing, because they'll get tired. The guy who scored the goal, he'll get tired. Their back four will get tired as well.
Ian, never has a team been less deserving of an equaliser. Carl, why have we got the shortest person on the post? Would it have made that much? Well, obviously it would have made some difference if somebody taller had been on the post, but it was a good header, wasn't it?
The chances of that heading that down into the ground, up into the roof of the net, they're one, and he could try that all night. It's very hard to do. I don't blame that. I'd blame whether it's Harry Kane, whether it's Maguire, it's Stones, whether it's Dyer. 2 of them, just wrap yourselves around. You don't have to foul him, just make sure he does not head it, because there's nobody else going to head it.
Paul, undeserved equaliser, but it was coming. We gave them a few chances in the last 10 minutes. Kevin, it was madness bringing on Eric Dyer when we were in control. It changed the game. Was that madness, Terry?
No, we weren't in control. They were starting to find pockets of space in that midfield. And once they got through Jordan Henderson, he was the only defensive midfield player that was left, and they were at our back 3 straight away. Plus with the 2 up front as well, they had numerous bodies in there, so it was the right decision. The thing about it was that Lingard was sucked across midfield from the right to the left-hand side, and when Mexico got the ball on the left-hand side, he had Bakker in front of him. There was 2v1 against Trippier a lot of the time, the last 10 minutes. Lingard had to come out there and form that right-hand side partnership with Trippier as well, but he got sucked across. The shape went, consequently, with Dyer in there especially, England were outnumbered down that left-hand side.
Tino Asprilla tweeted 16 minutes ago, so it was before the Colombia goal went in. It's very hard to win with a referee playing for the Queen of England. I think we know.
Oh, what a load of rubbish. Don't people talk rubbish? Honestly, why'd you read tweets like that out? You know what? People like that what are they watching? What are they watching? It's football.
Well, I'm reading that out because it's Tino Asprilla, and I'm giving it the Colombia and Colombians are going to have seen this a different way. They are going to have seen it a different way.
Hey, listen, anybody in football, put your hand up and be honest. They've conducted themselves disgracefully tonight, and they're still in the game. I can't believe it.
John Murray, I think we're ready to go for the first half of extra time.
Yes, Gus Hiddink is just down to our right here. He looks as though he's enjoying it. Colombia are going to get the first period of extra time underway. So now England have got to respond. One of those moments where that's when the manager, Gareth Southgate, Steve Holland and his team can do their work. That's when they have to rebuild the belief. No further substitutions. Remember, each team can make an extra substitution in extra time. England have only used 2 so far. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, they're playing a 4. They put Cuadrado in midfield. They're playing Bakker now on the right, Uribe on the left. So they're playing basically a 4-3-3. But their tails are up a bit now. They've got a bit of the crowds up. They've got that goal. England's got to stay calm and use the ball well.
Pickford, who made a brilliant save to keep it at 1-0. But then Colombia scored from the resulting corner. As Barrios and Young go in for a 50-50 together, and the whole of the Colombian bench have stepped forward because it happened in between the referee and the bench, clearly trying to influence the referee. Young went into the challenge. Barrios is still on the ground. Well, he has caught him. Young did catch him.
Yeah. Listen, he knows if he stands up, he's off. He's off. Young did catch him, but he's gone in two-footed. But he's gone in two-footed.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is shown, if that's referred. Young's still on the ground. There's no indication that is going to go to the video assistant referee.
But look at their bench as well. England's bench, look, can't see anybody. The whole lot, the whole squad, everybody's on the touchline shouting at the referee.
Young's okay, he's on his feet. I think he might have feared the worst there, Ashley Young. But no action taken. Young with the free kick. Hits it high into the Colombian penalty area. That's won aerially, won well actually as well by goal scorer Mina. And now Colombia are breaking away downfield up the left-hand side. And fortunately for England, Walker was able to come across and dispossess.
Well, Lingard must have run 50 yards here, got a little bit of cramp.
So now Colombia have the ball. England have the ball in front of their own penalty area. Colombia playing with Baca out towards the right-hand side. Falcao through the middle. John Stones in possession, and Stones to Walker. First period of extra time. England were winning 1-0 right until the 93rd minute when Yerry Mina headed the equaliser from a corner.
It's hard to work out what Colombia's playing. One minute they've got a 4, then they've got a 5. It's very hard to work out how they're playing.
Well, Baca does seem to have come out to the right.
Cuadrado's coming to the right now, and we've got 3 centre-halves.
Cuadrado wins the header. Henderson gets there ahead of Baca. Bouncing ball. Eric Dyer in with a challenge. That's a foul. Eric Dyer led with his shoulder. Free kick to Colombia. This is right in the balance. Baca still on the ground, hasn't got up yet. And the possibility of penalties obviously is now back on the agenda. Extra time. It is since the World Cup in 1966. This is now 8 of 15 World Cup knockout matches involving England that have gone to extra time. 8 out of 15. There is a trend there.
The crowd's right behind them. They've got
all around the stadium. Supporters in Colombia shirts are on their feet, waving their flags and their shirts. The England supporters heavily outnumbered, and the atmosphere is strongly backing the South American team. 1-1 the score. Baca is okay. Ball swung out towards the right here for Colombia. Cuadrado, as it's headed away by Young. Headed it straight to Cuadrado. He has Arias behind him. Arias now back to Cuadrado again, and back into his own half towards Colombian goal scorer Mina. Now across to Davinson Sanchez. Now to the left-hand side. Mojica is there. Mojica goes for the early ball to the edge of the box. Stones readjusts, plays it away. Now Colombia come through the middle with Falcao. Stones in with a challenge. There's a back heel by Baca, but Stones continued his run, was able to take the ball, run it away, and pass it out of play down the right. And suddenly Colombia are the team that we, from an England point of view, feared they might be tonight.
Yeah, they look a little bit tired now, and Colombia's getting time on the ball, and we know they can play. They haven't showed much of it tonight.
Throw in. Cuadrado was going to take it short. Now he's winding himself up. In fact, he wants the run to the near post. Here's the throw. It's flicked on. It's gone a long way, and it's hooked away by Lingard on the edge of the box. Bounces out of play for a throw on the pass.
That's a little bit naive. You know it's coming at the box. Get one in front so it doesn't come through. There's no danger then. First man clears it. But there's a lot of tired legs out there.
And Luis Muriel, who's on the left-hand side, the Sevilla man, he is a danger. So this front line for Colombia, Muriel on the left, Falcao through the middle, and Baca on the right. Ball played by Muriel down the left-hand side. It's taken on, a low cross to the near post. Pickford slides in, and Pickford gathers it. Falcao was in there as well. I thought for a moment it's Baca who was going to get there first.
Slid in, didn't he? Nearly got a touch on it.
England 1-1. Obviously that was a blow. That was a severe blow that England took, and they haven't really recovered properly yet. Colombia are on top, as Chris Waddle says. Their tails are up. 6:06 will follow once events are over here in the Spartak Moscow Stadium. Lines are open. 08085 909 693. Eric Dyer's carrying the ball forward. Dyer though runs into yellow shirts, and Colombia have it back. And now Lingard comes across, but it's played back by Muriel back into central defence.
It's strange, John. You've got one more sub left, haven't you? To put someone who can create something, who can nick you a goal, like a Rashford. Loftus-Cheek, can he create, or do you just leave it?
England have two subs left that you can use yet.
Oh yeah,
the one extra in extra time.
Can he put someone with a bit of energy who's going to create something? That's a big problem in the squad. We haven't really got a creative player.
Colombia with the ball. Cuadrado plays it up to Falcao, who just scoops it out of play. So we'll bring in Terry Butcher from down at pitch level again. Terry.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford just warming up right in the corner. The end that Jordan Pickford is in goal, just getting warmed up. He's not very energetic in his warm-up, right enough, and so he's not going to come on just yet, but that's an option if England want to really go for it and play three forwards, unless he wants to take Harry Kane off, and I don't think he'll do that.
The ball's off the field. Young's taken the throw. Maguire was looking the other way, and the referee has stopped play. The ball's been put in the net by Baka, but the referee had already blown the whistle. This was total confusion here, because the ball was thrown on the pitch. There were two balls on the pitch. Ashley Young was waiting to take a throw. Harry Maguire knew there was a ball on the field, turned his back. The ball was cleared off the field. Young took the throw while Harry Maguire was expecting that ball to be used for the throw.
Yeah, lucky there, by the way.
Just a little, because there was only one ball in play when the throw was taken by Ashley Young. There was confusion there, and that could have turned out very embarrassingly for Harry Maguire. But Maguire brings the ball forward. The score is still 1-1 in the first period of extra time here in Moscow. Vardy back towards Kane. Kane lifts it over the top through the middle, but beyond anyone in a red shirt.
Don't force it. You've got Kerr Walker to the right. Another pass out to Trippier. Make these run. There's a lot of tail legs. Make them work.
Ospina still has the ball. And we've already had 8 minutes of this first period of extra time. There's been so much talk, Chris, of penalties again, all year really.
I cannot believe it's 1-1. I just cannot believe it.
And we might be heading to penalties again. Pickford out of his penalty area. They've done so much work, Gareth Southgate and his staff, on trying to improve England's penalty record, but let's not get ahead of ourselves on that one, because we still have...
You're asking the wrong man.
I know. Here is Davinson Sanchez for Colombia. The way that the game is at the moment, it's entirely possible that Colombia could take a lead in this match. England are looking a little flat, and I think that thinking about making a change. John Stones heading the ball away. I thought Baka used his arm there.
Yeah, I did.
No free kick given. It's taken on by Uribe, who is running across from left to right, but then Ashley Young is able to play the ball into Uribe out of play.
They've got that late equaliser, John. They're really pumped up now. The crowd's behind them. They've got that extra bit of energy, and England look flat.
Colombia 1, England 1. I think it's Danny Rose, you know. Yeah, Danny Rose is the one who's going to be called forward first. And remember,
Ashley Young still limping.
Colombia can make one more change. England can make 2 more changes. Ball with Maguire, and then Dyer drops deep. Here's Young, back to Dyer.
I think it's for Ashley Young. He doesn't look right where he's walking. He's got a slight limp there. He's not happy.
Stones passes it up towards Lingard, but Lingard was beaten to it. And now Falcao plays it to the left-hand side, where Luis Muriel is taking it on. Luis Muriel back onto his right foot. He has support behind him. And Mojica rolls it all the way back towards the halfway line. Now it finds its way over here to the right-hand side to Arias. Arias touches it off to Cuadrado. Cuadrado, that's a good-looking delivery, and it's headed down, but well wide of the goal. Well wide of the goal. Corner from Baka. And it did take a deflection, and it is a corner to Colombia. Danger here then for England. Colombia scored from their only previous corner in the match.
I'd put 2 on him, mate.
Mina.
Yep, put 2 on him. Don't let him have it. Do not let him have it.
Corner to be taken again by Cuadrado. This is the old routine. Everyone knows about it here at the World Cup. But stopping it has proved impossible. Falcao is pulling Davinson Sanchez away from the England defence. Here's the delivery towards Mina, and it's headed wide by Davinson Sanchez, who actually got in the way of Mina. Headed it wide.
Well, that was good news. He got in the way. He has the substitution.
And it is Ashley Young being replaced by Danny Rose. Terry Butcher.
Yeah, when the corner came over, I watched Mina because he's marked by Harry Maguire, and he goes back right on the back post, well past the back post. As the delivery's coming in, it's an outswinger. He then goes towards the penalty spot, away from goal, loses Harry Maguire. Unfortunately, one of his players gets in the way, doesn't get a clean header, but flashes it wide. I think Chris is right. They've got to put 2 men in, one in front, one slightly behind, and to try and squeeze him out of that space, because he is a real danger.
Colombia 1, England 1. As Ashley Young is embraced by Gareth Southgate, who slaps him on the back, and Danny Rose steps into this World Cup round of 16 match to win his 21st cap. Chris, England brought on Jamie Vardy in the latter part of the match. They'd love to have Rashford on the field, wouldn't they?
I would rather have Rashford on, but Jamie Vardy was brought on because they were throwing everything at England, Colombia, and there was space, and you thought, well, with a counter-attack, ideal for Vardy. One ball, he's down the side, he's away. England scored, now they've dropped off defensively. Vardy's got no space, he can't get in behind. So yes, in hindsight, Rashford would have been a better change.
But this can still make one change.
I would look at it, because if you want to go and win the game at the minute, there's a lot of tight legs out there. Colombia's been spurred on by this crowd, which is a lot of yellow shirts. Another free kick.
Free kick. We are in the 13th minute of the first period of extra time, the 103rd minute of this match. Colombia 1, England 1, and a free kick after Mojica was bundled over by Lingard, who's one of the England players on a yellow card in this match. Lingard and Henderson. 1-1. Colombia being loudly backed by their many thousands of supporters here in Moscow. And here they are with the ball on the left-hand side. Mojica with a cross. Falcao with a header, but he's headed it wide. He was in between Maguire and Stones, and he headed it wide, and he holds his head.
He should hold his head as well. What a chance that was. And Colombia have sort of upped the gears. England have come right off the pace. You're talking not one or two players, you're talking about 8 or 9 have come right off the pace. And Harry Maguire, give him credit, just puts Falcao off. If he goes to head it, just nudges him, and he heads it wide. But it's all Colombia at the minute.
Colombia 1, England 1. This is all happening. England defending at your end of the ground, Terry Butcher.
Yeah, my heart's in my mouth, and that cross came out. Couldn't watch where Falcao's header went, because the England back three all over the shop. Falcao gets in between John Stones and Harry Maguire. John Stones doesn't do anything about it. Harry Maguire comes across too late. Free header. He's a small man, Falcao. If he puts that on target, that could have been 2-1. They've got to, the concentration level's got to be higher. It's got to be higher.
Do you know what it's like though, Terry? And it when you're tired, concentration levels drop. And there's a lot of tired minds out and legs out there.
Yeah, but the team with the most concentration will win this match, Chris. We know that, and it's got to be England. It's got to be us.
It doesn't look like us at the minute.
No.
Terry Butcher and Chris Waddle with us on 5 Live. World Cup semi-finalists with England both. And now England were seconds away, really, from a quarter-final here in Russia. Now suddenly the semi-final possibility of that feels like a long way away. 1-1 the score, and Colombia sweeping forward again in the yellow shirts. Baca turns and gives it to Falcao, who's on his left foot outside the D. He gives it to Mojica on the left-hand side. Yellow shirts are plenty in the box. Oh, that's an awful cross from Mojica, and it bounces straight out of play beyond everyone. And Falcao puts his hands on his hips in the penalty area in desperation. Goal kicking.
Do you know when they made them subs? They didn't leave 12 on, did they, Colombia? They just seem to be dominating the game, and England just have got... Where's everybody gone? Nobody gets on the ball apart from the back three, and they're giving it away cheaply.
But Mina's equaliser was a real stunning blow that floored England and lifted Colombia so much. And then a crossfield pass straight out of play from Eric Dyer, throwing to Colombia halfway inside their own half. We're in added time at the end of the first period of extra time. Jose Peckerman, the coach who led Colombia to the quarter-finals 4 years ago in Brazil when they did so well and entertained us so much. Walker under pressure from Muriel. Now Trippier back to Walker. England don't want to make mistakes here, and then Trippier has actually been caught late by Muriel, who has stalked across and is leaning over Trippier and has obviously given him a piece of his mind. Kieran Trippier gets up and is smiling at him.
Yeah, he is, but it just shows he didn't touch him then, did he? Look, he doesn't. So, he's rolling around.
Yeah, Trippier's made a meal of that.
We dig other teams out. That's terrible.
Free kick to England. Pickford to hit it downfield. Whistle will be going very shortly as Vardy heads the ball on straight through for a goal kick, and that is half-time in extra time. Colombia 1, England 1. And let's bring Mark Chapman in again.
It's as if the late equaliser has knocked all wind out of their sails, all composure. It's affected them mentally. They're just not there, are they, at the moment?
No, you're looking for leaders at the minute. You need somebody to rally them up. I know Gareth's getting them in a circle at the minute. You get them together. But there's a lot of tired minds and legs, and I think that goal did hit a lot of them. You know, they thought we're over the line here. We're in the quarter-finals. They'll give a terrible goal away, and you've got to say Colombia have just grasped the occasion from that. They are really now look supercharged. They look full of energy, and they look like the team was going to win it.
Gareth Southgate at the moment is focusing on John Stones. He's taken John Stones' head in his hands. He's just giving him a little bit of a pep talk, Terry.
Yeah, he is, and the reason is that Falcao's got right into John Stones' head there. Falcao's got the ball. John Stones was behind, and Falcao dived and tried to win the free kick. Wasn't given by the referee, and then John Stones bent over Falcao and was giving him a piece of his mind. Falcao bounced back as well, and then they're having a little bit of an argument, not so much with Falcao, but John Stones was having a go at Falcao. So he's got to forget that, John Stones. He's got to concentrate on doing his job as a defender. If it goes to penalties, it means that England don't concede any more goals, and John Stones can't afford a lapse of concentration, and that's why Gareth Southgate went over to speak to him. Good management from Gareth Southgate.
Mike says England have been dreadful in extra time. What's with the high risk passing into the penalty box? Pam, wake up England, put that goal behind you and move on. This is about now. Rick, England haven't deserved to win the game. They've never looked like scoring from open play. Ospina hasn't had one save to make in the match. I mean, that is a fair point. They haven't created anything from open play, really.
That's a good tweet, that one. Yeah, I'll go along with that. For all, England have looked the better side, moving the ball. It's hard to judge Colombia for basically 85 minutes because they were just thugs. And now suddenly they get the equaliser, they've started playing the football, which we talked about what they can play. And they're causing England a lot of problems here. And England somehow got to dig in. Mentally, physically, they've got to dig in.
The lines are open to talk to Kelly and Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693. Gareth Southgate has been asked about penalties a lot this week, a lot in the build-up to this tournament, and he's 15 minutes away from being England manager in a penalty shootout. John Murray.
At the moment with England, you think now they almost would take penalties because Colombia are on top and they've just gone into a huddle. England have been ready for some little while. I noticed that James Rodriguez, actually, who's not involved tonight, has actually came onto the field and joined in. And in the goal to our right, at Terry's end, one of the assistants, I don't know whether some netting had come loose, but they seem to be giving that some attention and putting that right. Chris Waddle.
Well, as I say, I'm looking for England here to try and raise the tempo. We've got 15 minutes. They can still win the game in this time, but they've got to pick it up. They've just dropped right off the pace and they're letting Colombia come onto them.
Kane heads it down for Lingard. Lingard hits the shot. Henderson pokes it forward. Chance for Vardy. Shoots straight at Ospina, and he was in an offside position.
Good start. Simple kick-off. Back to John Stones. Long bit of panic there in the Colombian defence. Drops to Vardy. Yeah, and he's a good 2 yards offside.
Hit it straight at Ospina. Yep. Took it well to his left, actually. Just to his left. Good catch. Colombia 1. England 1. So, first minute of the second period of extra time. Colombia, their best period of the match was in that first 15 minutes of extra time, having scored the equaliser in the third minute of added time at the end of the 90. Muriel overhits the ball down the left, straight out of play. Mojica can't keep it in. Throw into England. England all in red. They're playing from left to right now in this period of extra time. Colombia, yellow shirts with the blue and red Colombian trim. The throw-in taken by Trippier, and Stones played it back to him. And they've conceded a free kick. That's a bad error.
Throw-in,
that's a bad error. Lack of concentration. That is symptomatic of the way that England are just now. They're in trouble here, England. Throw-in taken, and Mojica takes it on down the left-hand side. Colombia have new energy in this match. Uribe plays it back towards Davinson Sanchez. Cuadrado's available on the far side if they want to use him. Davinson Sanchez passes it forward to Dyer. Dyer got a foot in. Kane will play it over the top for Vardy to chase. Stretched by Davinson Sanchez to get his head to it.
Right idea.
Ball's played back by Arias to Ospina, who's able to control it on his right foot. Falls as he clears it. Kane's giving it back to Lingard. Goalkeeper still on the ground. Vardy could be in. Shot is blocked by Barrios, who did a great job actually to cover Jamie Vardy and block his shot from the angle.
I didn't know what Jamie Vardy had in his mind there. He didn't know whether to cross it or shoot, and he made the wrong decision.
But also, how long did it take David Ospina to get back into his goal? Ball played over the top by Bacca, and this is for Falcao to chase, but Pickford got there first outside the penalty area and has planted it into the stand.
Gareth Southgate may be looking about Stones. He's become a liability at the minute, and he'll be looking at that. He's the spare man at the back in the middle.
England thump it away. Danny Rose, the substitute. Jamie Vardy plays it around the defender but plays it straight out of play. John Stones has become a liability.
Well, he's given the ball away there. Falcao got ahead of him in the box that way. He's had a word with him in the change around. There he's fallen asleep as the ball gets played over the top. Pickford comes out and clears it.
Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland are in discussions together just in front of the blue-topped England dugout down to our right. The score, Colombia 1, England 1. Penalties are approaching. They are 12 minutes away. England, who've lost 6 out of 7 penalty shootouts at World Cup and European Championship finals over the years. Throw in for Colombia. And Uribe plays it through the inside left position but couldn't find the ball to Muriel, and Pickford has it in his hands.
Well, the nerves start creeping in now about mistakes, and anything can happen, as you say. Or is there 7-8 minutes left, whatever. And
back in your World Cup, famously, at this stage of the competition, England won against Belgium with a very late goal in extra time, scored by David Platt. England are up against it here now in this match as it's sent forward towards Jamie Vardy. Mina missed his clearance and was rather fortunate there that he got a second chance, but he took his second chance up towards Falcao. That's a lurking danger if ever I saw one. Falcao. Awful ball forward from Barrios, and now Vardy chases a ball down the left hand side, takes on Mina. Vardy using his pace, thought he might have been tripped there by Arias. No free kick given, so Colombia are in possession. Vardy hauls himself back to his feet. Ball up towards Falcao. That's won by Harry Maguire in the air. Lingard heads it on. Henderson, little header back towards Lingard. Now Kyle Walker will take it on over the halfway line for England. Walker stands up with the challenge. Walker then throws himself to the ground.
Cramp.
And has cramp. Throw in to Colombia. The referee just checking with Kyle Walker. Colombia putting the ball out of play, so we can bring in Terry Butcher again. Terry.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford again 15 yards away from him in the corner, and I think they'll be looking at a substitution there. Maybe go to a back four and bring on Rashford. We've got the two strikers, of course, with Kane and with Vardy. Maybe Rashford on the left-hand side of midfield in that four. I think they might do that to try and just tighten things up and just have another body in there, another attacking body in there as well.
Yeah, that is one way, as Lingard plays it to Kane, and then Kane slips the ball forward to Vardy, who crosses. It took a deflection and went a long way, but Barrios was able to half volley it out of play for a throw down the left.
It's Colombia who've come off the pace now. I think they're feeling it pace-wise, and England's starting to come back into the game.
It's 1-1, BBC 5 Live, 6:06 to follow. 08085 909 693. England with Maguire. Maguire through to Lingard. It's bounced off Lingard. It's rattling around on the edge of the Colombian penalty area. And then Muriel comes out with the ball. England could be stretched here, but Stones is able to step forward and just pass it away to Jordan Henderson. Henderson going round the outside of Muriel down the left, and then Muriel recovers and slides in. Good challenge, puts it out for a throw to England, who have found a little bit of extra gas in the tank.
Yeah, I think Colombia's come off the pace as well, so could be a few more mistakes.
How long have we got? 111 minutes have been played of the 120. Still 1-1. Dyer with a high ball out towards Henderson on the far side. Back to Danny Rose, puts his foot on it. Henderson. Maguire is there, and Maguire will carry the ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area, but his pass is deflected away by Barrios, but back to the red shirts of England. Whistles from the Colombian fans inside the stadium here, because it is England who are just beginning to move into the ascendancy again. Deep in extra time. Rose will now latch onto a ball and shoot right across the face of goal and beyond the far post.
Oh, what a great move, a great run by Danny Rose. There's a lot of tired legs out there. He's a sub who's come on, he should have a lot of energy. Drills it across. As a slight deflection, I thought there. Well, he's give a goal kick.
Marcus Rashford is being spoken to at length by Gareth Southgate here. Gareth Southgate was standing in front of him with his hands on the top of his shoulders, talking directly into his face. And now Rashford comes up, and he will be coming on to replace Kyle Walker, who was struggling with cramp.
Well, yeah, struggling badly. Dial go to a right side of the three. Yep.
Eric Dyer has dropped back in there. That was always going to be an option for England. Marcus Rashford sprints onto the field.
Rashford's gone into midfield with Henderson and Lingard.
Rashford to the left-hand side. Talks to Jordan Henderson still. So Rashford, who we saw at right wing back, didn't we, against Belgium in the last group match. Rashford in another unfamiliar position, and that's it. That is the end of the substitutions. Oh, actually, no, I think Colombia have one more if they want to use it. Colombia 1, England 1. And we have less than 7 minutes to go before penalties. Penalties at a World Cup involving England. Here's Vardy, though. Vardy onto the ball down the right, crosses to the near post, a touch by Lingard, but a blocking save by the sliding Barrios to put it wide of the near post.
That's more like Jamie Vardy, isn't it? He runs down the channel, spins out his right hand side. A lot of tired legs in that defence. Great first touch and a lovely early ball in. Oh, and Lingard just can't get a touch on it, but they've got a corner, which they're always carry a threat.
Carry a threat from a corner, England. We know that no team at this World Cup has scored more goals from set pieces than Gareth Southgate's England team. Colombia did it to them. Can England do it to Colombia? Here it is. Oh, and the chance is headed over the top. I think it was Eric Dyer who was in there. Clear header, 7 yards out, and he headed over the top right in front of Terry Butcher.
Yeah, he didn't get up early enough, Eric Dyer. Good ball in, over the top of the first man, just over the top of the first man. Didn't get up above the ball, so therefore he hits the ball underneath and over the crossbar. What a chance that was. What a chance. Any header on target, and that's 2-1.
And just when it seemed, Chris Waddle, that England were right up against it, they've rallied in this second period of extra time and have created enough chances to have won it.
Yeah, they have. They've the second period of extra time, they're on top there. Colombia's come right off the pace. The crowd's gone quiet as well, which is good.
They're going to change their right back. That's the final change that Colombia are making there. Their permitted fourth substitution in extra time. Arias is going to be replaced by the AC Milan defender Christian Zapata. Barely played for AC Milan this season, and I think Arias might be another one who is just struggling a little after these almost 120 minutes of intense effort. So that is it for the substitutions. We have less than 5 minutes to play, and then it'll be penalties. England have been involved in 3 penalty shootouts at World Cups, lost them all. If you know your football, you can probably reel them off. Here's Kane in the centre circle. Kane looks to his left. Harry Kane to Lingard. Lingard with a flick. Kane takes it on. Thought he might have been blocked there, but no free kick. And Colombia coming forward. All of these Colombian supporters raise their sound level as Colombia pass the halfway line. Now on the left-hand side, Mojica. Back it goes, though, into central defence to Davinson Sanchez and Barrios. Barrios flicks a pass to the right-hand side. And Zapata, the newly arrived Zapata, gives it to Cuadrado. Cuadrado's ball in towards Falcao. Is headed across his own penalty area by Dyer.
No, Dyer headed it out.
It's given us a goal kick, and that was a clear deflection off the head of Dyer. And it's given us a goal kick.
Well, Falcao is nowhere near that, by the way, unless he thinks nobody touched it.
Well, that's what they must think.
Yeah, he thinks nobody's touched it. He's given a goal kick. Good news for England.
That's an escape. England don't want to face another Colombian corner. 1-1 the score. Kane flicks a header on, looking for Vardy, but cleared away by Davinson Sanchez, who's had an excellent game actually, Davinson Sanchez. And then down goes this time Muriel, only a slight touch from Trippier, no free kick given. I think the referee might finally have got wise to it.
Yeah, it's only took him, 117 minutes, not bad that.
We're into the final 2 minutes. Oh, Danny Rose is taken out by Cuadrado. That's an awful challenge. It was late. I think Rose has just been able to evade it. But if he'd made contact there on Danny Rose, that could have been nasty. Yellow card for Cuadrado.
Silly challenge, because England are very dangerous at set pieces, improved all night.
That's the 6th Colombian player to be booked. Free kick then for England. Danny Rose took no hurt from that challenge, and it will be Danny Rose to swing in this free kick for England. Late in extra time, Rose's delivery. Oh, Ospina comes for it and gets a fingertip to it to deflect it away. Out for a throw-in. Ospina. You might not believe this. Ospina has stayed down.
Not again. Which was the game he kept falling down? Poland, was it?
I think it was, or was it?
It was Poland, I think.
Yes. He's on his feet again. Throw in. We're now in the 119th minute. Penalties approaching. Throw in for England. Trippier into the box. Flicked on by Maguire. Whacked away for Colombia by Mina. England have left the big men up. So Rashford playing the ball to Trippier. Trippier now to John Stones on the halfway line. England have got to be careful here. Stones is careful. He plays it all the way back to Pickford.
He's got his game back together the last 5 minutes, to be fair. He's used the ball very, very well again.
Had a shaky period. Long ball from Pickford. That's headed away by Cuadrado. Ball's allowed to bounce by Henderson in the centre circle, and then wins the bouncing ball against Radamel Falcao. We are now in the 120th minute. It looks like it's going to be penalties. Gulp.
Been reading the Beano again.
Maguire, Stones and Henderson, and now Rashford. Rashford on his right foot. He's up against Barrios, so he plays it out here to the right-hand side to Trippier. Trippier's ball forward has been charged down by Muriel, and Mojica it is actually, and the ball bounces off him and out of play for
They're not going to rush on this, are they? This is going to take the time. I think they've accepted Colombia that it's going to go to a shootout.
Throw in. Mojica to take it.
Oh,
just watching a replay.
Honestly.
Harry Maguire placed a hand on Ospina, and Ospina collapsed to the ground. Ball's out of play for a throw. That's it. 1 minute of added time. We have 60 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, late in the evening in Moscow, we are 1 minute away from a penalty shootout between England and Colombia for a place in the quarter-finals of the World Cup. I think my heart rate's just increased in saying those words. Ball whacked across field by Mojica. Might be a chance to win it yet. Final ball into the box by Cuadrado to the edge of the area. Stones wins a header, comes out to Mojica. Mojica up against Trippier. Trippier tries to recover. Mojica's gone past him and then fell over. And the ball's behind for a goal kick.
That's going to be it. It's got to be it now, hasn't it?
20 seconds, yeah.
20 seconds. Well, he's not going to... He can kick a long way.
Pickford with a goal kick.
There you go, pens it is in.
Smashes it down the middle. Onto the head of...
We will rejoin with the penalties. Stay by.